All right, guys, we got something big lined up for you tonight. I hope the title didn't give too much away. But we'll get to that. Welcome in. Candace's last two nights have been wild. I've talked to a lot of people about the need, perhaps, not that I would supplement the Queen's podcasting by any stretch of the imagination, but perhaps the need to hit a member show tomorrow to just sort of unpack what it is she's been saying. So we may do that at some point tomorrow. Open up the member stream and really dig into the timelines, the different players, answer a lot of questions about who's who. I saw a lot of questions in the comments. I hop over to the Discord. You guys don't know I jump in there sometimes. I jump into the podcast Discord every now and then. I don't run it, so I take no responsibility for what happens in there. But every so often, I peek in and see if you people are behaving. And I even comment sometimes, and you don't know it's me because I'm using an alias. So be polite. Be polite to everybody. But I jump in there from time to time, and I've noticed a few people asking for a little explainer, a little breakdown of who some of the players are. I think one of the things that happens to me, I was talking to Daisy today about it, happens to her. I think it sometimes happens to the best of us. We live this and breathe this and have for months. I mean, I spend 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day preparing for a show before I run it out to you guys. And so I hear these names. I know who these players are. I know where they lived. I know who they were married to. I know where they went to school. I know who their acquaintances were. I know what patents they have. We know everything about these people. And so we roll out a show and assume everybody else understands the basics. And so one of the things we'll do probably tomorrow, we'll probably do this tomorrow. I've got several things lined up. I don't want to tell you what I'm doing, but you'll see it in the future. So that's one thing. Second thing, Sunday night's show is going to be explosive. I have no other way to say it. I've got one more thing to nail down before I'm confident I can roll out the show the way I want to. But if we roll it out Sunday, the way I envision it being rolled out, it is going to transform the Charlie Kirk investigation. You will not want to miss Sunday's show. Again, there's still a wrinkle or two that could cause a hiccup and me not be able to roll it out the way I want it to. But I don't believe it's going to stop. I think it's locked in. The keys are turned. One key's turned. You know, on a nuke, you got one key turned. You got to turn the other key. One key is turned. I want to turn that other key, but I got a couple things I got to clear before we turn that other key. I'm pretty confident it will be turned, and Sunday's show will be fire. I mean, absolute fire. So you're not going to want to miss Sunday night's show. And I have no idea what time it'll be right now. I would guess probably in the 5, 6 o'clock range, maybe as late as 7. Depends on how long it takes that day to get it put together. But it is. Guys, I have no other way to explain it. I had no idea a week ago this set of facts existed. And what I have learned, I intend to share with you. I intend to share it all with you, everything I've learned. But again, I have one more little hurdle to clear. And it is, you'll never look at the Charlie Kirk investigation the same way. This is not a theory about a cause of death. This is not a theory about anything like that. It is just, you can't even guess. You can't even guess. It's that big. So that's going to happen Sunday night. 98.47% sure that's going to happen Sunday night. I'm going to feel terrible if I have to come up Sunday night and be like, well, I can't do the show. I'll let you know ahead of time if that happens. So that's in all likelihood coming down the pike. Tonight we have a great guest. I'm gonna do my regular open. I have one segment I'm gonna do. Then we're gonna bring in a guest, and then I have one segment I'm gonna do after that. So it could be a little longer of a show tonight. I understand it's a little later, but it took a long time to get this show lined up today, including getting coordinated with our guests. So that's gonna happen. We're gonna start with the open as we normally do. And then we will jump into just a cleanup topic. The first topic's not long. It's just a cleanup topic of a couple of things we've talked about to date. And then we'll bring our guest in. Our guest is I think, a very explosive guest. So we'll get to that in, I don't know, I can't give you an exact time, but it's going to be a big show. But again, I cannot tell you what Sunday's going to be like if it goes off without a hitch. You are not going to want to miss it. Sunday's the type of show where you'll be calling people and saying, are you watching this? Are you out of your friggin' mind? Are you serious? Are you seriously watching what is happening on YouTube, on Rumble, on Spotify right now? Are you watching? Yeah, it's going to be that kind of show. All right, but in the meantime, I have your opening statement. The world first heard of James Fry with the publication of his book, A Million Little Pieces, in April of 2003. It was pitched to the public as a raw, unflinching memoir. The book told the tale of Fry's steady and terrifying descent into alcoholism and drug addiction. Notably, his story included vivid accounts of his time in rehabilitation at a facility resembling the Hazelden Clinic in Minnesota. Fry described himself as a troubled figure from a privileged background. He recounted episodes of criminal behavior, such as arrests for assault and drug possession. There was a particularly dramatic incident in the book where he allegedly struck a police officer with his car while he was intoxicated. The narrative style was unconventional. The book lacked quotation marks and featured a stream of consciousness approach that drew readers by emphasizing emotional turmoil over the traditional rules of grammar. When it was released, the book received fairly favorable attention from critics and readers alike. The editors at Amazon, for example, hailed it as their favorite book of the year. They praised its brutal honesty and inspirational act of redemption. Initial sales were really solid. He sold over 1 million copies in just the first 2 years. Those kind of numbers established Fry as a promising voice in the memoir genre. Reviewers compared it to works by Hunter S. Thompson and Charles Bukowski, noting its gritty portrayal of addiction's underbelly. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune, however, published an early piece questioning some of the details in the book. Fry responded to the piece, admitting some minor alterations for literary effect while insisting the truth of the overall story. The book's trajectory shifted dramatically in September 2005 when Oprah Winfrey selected it for her influential book club. Oprah announced her endorsement on her massively popular daytime talk show and transformed A Million Little Pieces into a cultural phenomenon virtually overnight. Sales skyrocketed. The book immediately went to the top of nearly every bestseller list and eventually surpassed 4.5 million copies worldwide. Fry appeared on Oprah Winfrey's program, where he discussed his experiences in a compelling interview that resonated with viewers struggling with similar issues. Oprah lauded the book as a beacon of hope and emphasized its message that recovery was possible even from the depths of despair. This exposure not only amplified Fry's visibility, but also positioned him as a symbol of resilience. Media outlets scrambled for interviews, and he became a fixture on many talk shows where he shared anecdotes that reinforced the book's central theme. The success spilled over to his follow-up, My Friend Leonard, which was released in June of 2005. My Friend Leonard focused on a paternal figure from his rehab days and quickly joined the bestseller ranks. Fry's narrative of survival captivated audiences and actually contributed a great deal to society. It inspired countless readers to confront their own demons and seek help. Bookstores reported unprecedented demand, and the Oprah stamp of approval turned Fry into a household name. He had speaking engagements and public appearances that cemented his status as an authority on recovery. More and higher profile doubts about the memoir's authenticity began to surface fairly prominently in early 2006. On January 8th, the Smoking Gun website released an investigative report titled A Million Little Lies. They exposed James Fry's fiction addiction. The piece meticulously dissected Fry's claims against public records and revealed that significant discrepancies existed. For example, the alleged 3-month prison stint following a violent arrest, it was debunked. Police reports showed Fry had been detained for only a few hours on misdemeanor charges like driving without a license and open container violations. There was no evidence of the dramatic confrontation or the injuries he described. Another fabrication involved a 1986 train car accident in Michigan where Fry portrayed himself as intimately connected to a tragic event that killed 2 teenagers. In reality, he had no real involvement, and records from the scene directly contradicted his role. The report also highlighted inconsistencies in his rehab timeline. His criminal history that suggested much of the book's sensational elements were invented. Early whispers, like those from the Star Tribune in 2003, picked up steam as bloggers and journalists dug deeper. Fry's publisher initially defended him, asserting that the book had been vetted. But the mounting evidence from court documents and interviews with involved parties painted a picture of Fry's systematic exaggeration of the events he described in his books. The exposure triggered a cascade of repercussions that destroyed his newfound celebrity. 3 days after the Smoking Guns article, Fry appeared on Larry King Live alongside his mother, seeking to downplay the issues as a typical memoir liberty and focused on the essential truth of his addiction struggles. Winfrey actually phoned into the program to support him, which underscored the book's motivational impact. However, public pressure continued to mount. It eventually led Oprah to reverse course and invite Fry back on her show on January 26, 2006. In a tense, widely watched episode, Oprah Winfrey grilled him on the deceptions in the book. She focused much of the discussion on the betrayal of her audience. Fry admitted to altering key facts, including the jail time and accident details, and the publisher faced criticism for inadequate fact-checking. The confrontation became something of a media spectacle. Columnists blasted the erosion of trust in publishing. Fry's literary agent severed ties with him on January 31st, citing irreparable damage. By February 1st, he had issued a reader's note in a subsequent edition where he expressed regret for misleading people. Riverhead canceled a lucrative 2-book contract on February 24th, and Random House, Doubleday's parent, settled a class action lawsuit in September 2006, allocating more than $2 million for refunds to disillusioned buyers of the books. Disclaimers were added to future copies to warn the readers of fictionalized elements. Oprah Winfrey later apologized to Fry in 2009 and 2011 for the interview's intensity, but the scandal forever tainted her book club's reputation. Somehow, Fry's career actually rebounded. He had a 2007 HarperCollins deal releasing the novel Bright Shiny Morning. He ventured into young adult fiction through Full Fathom 5, creating series like Lori and Legacies under pseudonyms, though the company drew flack in 2010 for exploitative writer contracts. And Fry also contributed to films such as Queen and Slim in 2019. And he leads esports ventures, all of which demonstrate a resilient pivot from the memoir debacle that once threatened to define his legacy. The lesson in my eyes is that the public is generally as forgiving as the person who lied to them is forthcoming and remorseful. Both Oprah and Fry played the controversy nearly perfectly. Oprah recommended a book she did not vet. Fry wrote a memoir for a life he did not live. And when the public caught on, both expressed honest and sincere remorse, and the public, at least much of the public, forgave them. And that is your opening statement. So now we will jump off from that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about there. Someone claiming to live a life they didn't live. Shocking in the context of everything we've been covering here lately. I'm sure you find it as shocking as I do. All right, let me pull up a couple things here, because this is going to be a dense evening. We're going to move quickly. I've got to pull up a story that I want to read to you. I'll bring it up on the screen if it'll pull up. I will say this website's been giving me a lot of trouble lately. But I want to pull up a story here. You guys remember this. We keep revisiting this, and there's a reason we keep revisiting this. This is Charlie Kirk writing about the 7-year anniversary at Turning Point. And there is, in the frame, the man who plucked Charlie Kirk from obscurity, Bill Montgomery. And I don't know what kind of tie that is, Bill. I'm not going to hold it against you all these many years later. Charlie went with the forever tie, right? The diagonal stripes. You can't ever go wrong with the diagonal stripe. But this is the 7-year anniversary, and I want to read some of this. Last week was our 7-year anniversary at Turning Point. I realized when the anniversary hit, I was in such a rush and transit, I didn't properly reflect and commemorate this incredible milestone. 7 years ago, June 5th, 2012, I picked up the phone to call Bill Montgomery, and I told him that I had the name of the organization, Turning Point USA, that I believed would recapture the spirit of our country. He immediately responded with, "How can I help? I believe in you." This was so rare. Outside of my parents and a few other local friends, belief in me was a hard thing to find. Many people know the above story. Few know this story. And I'll say this, I did not know this story. I did not know this part of the story that we're about to get into. For the days leading up to June 5th, 2012, Bill Montgomery spent hours, yes, hours, on the phone with me, building me, coaching me, and believing in me. That's weird to me. This is me talking, not the article. That's weird to me. I still find this whole story deeply bizarre and disturbing, that a 72-year-old man would spend this much effort. And wait, it gets worse or better, depending on your perspective. But it gets more. We'll say that. It gets more. I was a high school senior who just got rejected from West Point. A high school senior. I'm still weirded out by the fact that Bill Montgomery spent this much time investing in a high school senior. Hours and hours on the phone? What on earth did he see in me? He saw me speak just once before at a Tea Party rally in Lisle, Illinois. In fact, here is the link if you want to watch it. We will watch this link in a minute. It's only 2 minutes long. It's a very short speech. We finally tracked down the infamous link. And let me say this. A guy named XNihilo on Twitter, EX_NIHILO. He is a fantastic researcher. He found all this. I'm just lifting this right out of his research. I encourage you to go over and give him a follow. He's great. You cannot go wrong following this guy. I was hardly the dynamic speaker I am today, but Bill saw something in me, something unique, and saw the potential. I will never forget those hour phone calls that led up to me calling him with the name of the organization. Not only did Bill Montgomery advise, mentor, and coach me up to that moment, he went all in after. The summer of 2012 was a rough one for me, tough one for me. When most of my peers were going away to college, I was left zigzagging the Midwest in 98-degree heat with Bill, going from Tea Party to Tea Party event, asking for $50 donations and searching for a big donor. We fed off a dream. We were inspired by the imagination of what could be possible. There were moments where I wanted to give up. It's so easy to try and portray that you always had it within yourself to keep going. I didn't. I needed Bill, the ultimate optimist, to keep pushing me. I remember in August of 2012, I was low on energy, money, and positivity. This is almost child abuse, by the way. He was 18 years old. But I digress. Bill, however, convinced me we should go to the RNC in Tampa. Many of you know the now famous meeting where Foster Freeze pledged us the $10,000 contribution. Few people know what led up to that moment. As I was trying to gain access to the RNC, and let me pause here, I didn't know what led up to that moment. I've long speculated, how did he get a meeting with a billionaire? How did an 18-year-old kid end up at the RNC in front of a billionaire asking for money? It doesn't happen every day. As I was trying to gain access to the RNC, Bill was relentless in pouring energy into me. Every time I wanted to put my head down, every time I wanted to give up, he said, "Come on, Charlie, you can do it. Keep going." And I did, thanks to him. I reflect back on the praise we've been getting the last few days. I feel very incomplete. I feel as if I'm getting the praise for something I only played a part in doing, a fraction, a team member. The truth is, if Bill didn't have my back, if Bill didn't keep pushing me, this experiment would have failed, and with it, the millions of lives we've impacted along the way. And then he goes on to talk about all the things that they've done. To anyone who's been impacted by my videos, podcasts, TPUSA, our chapters, literature, events, conferences, field programs, or any speeches I've given, you have Bill Montgomery to thank for investing in an 18-year-old with a vision when everyone else thought it was impossible, foolish, and deemed for failure. He saw it, believed in it, and America's better for it. Bill, thank you for taking that risk. We're all in your debt. I'll admit, I thought that was strange. If my 18-year-old son was spending hours and hours on the phone with a 72-year-old man, I would be a little weirded out. But I'm old school, you see. I'm old school. Well, let's watch the video real quick. This is the speech that started it all. Hold on. All right. Sorry, I didn't know it was going to fly up like that. You tell me, when I play this speech, I want you to put yourself in 72-year-old Bill Montgomery's shoes. At 72 years old, you've seen a few political speeches in your day, particularly if you're a Tea Party guy, if you're flying around looking at different candidate forums. Anyone who's lived this local life on the local circuit, and I did it for many, many years, where you go to all these little events in these little counties and these little member parties, and they got 18 people at them and 29 people at them. I've spoken at them, spoken at a lot of them, where they ask you to show up and speak, and you look out there and there's 22 people, and the median age is like 89, and that's including you. You're in somebody's barn. It's 29 degrees outside. They've got one little kerosene heater in the corner. I mean, I've done all this. I've been on this circuit. I've been there with candidates. I've been there with myself. I've been there as a supporter. I've been there as a speaker. And this is what this is. You'll notice when he's speaking, I'm just setting the stage before I show you. Well, you'll notice when he's speaking, this is the infamous speech where Bill Montgomery discovered this dynamic speaker. Within 20 seconds, he says. And he just knew this guy was the one. He was the one. He was the chosen. He was the Neo. He was the called. When you see this, you're going to hear the audience in the background. There's not very many people. They tell the story and say, Bill, when he tells the story, says there were 400 people. I don't hear 400 people. I hear like 8. But maybe there were. Maybe they were just very quiet. Which, again, would betray the fact that it was not quite the dynamic speech we've been sold, but that's neither here nor there. All right, let me play the speech. I don't want to tell you it's not what we've been told, but this is the setting. He is in some sort of gymnasium, it looks like, or some sort of auditorium hall, maybe. It's a little grainy, admittedly. But I'll play it for you. It's 2 minutes and 16 seconds. The 2 minutes and 16 seconds that changed the entire world.
SOS, what does that mean? It is the international cry for help. Our generation is drowning in an ocean of debt. When you graduate from high school, you'll get that diploma. It'll be a great day. But that's an invoice for over $600,000. You owe each one of you $600,000 to the federal government. Washington is spending your future away, spending my future away, spending our children's future away. But you know what? We can still turn this around. We can bring this ship back up. We're drowning in an ocean of debt. This is our mayday right now. SOS Liberty, again, is all high school kids, and we need kids like you. We need kids that are dedicated to fiscal responsibility, limited government, and getting spending back under control. Now out there, they keep on saying, we are the 99%. I'm sure you've all heard that, right? Heard that several times. We like to believe in the words, we the people. Not we are the 99%, but rather, we the people believe in fiscal responsibility. We don't divide, rather we unite. We have a president who's polarizing this nation. We have a leader in the White House who's not uniting us, but rather dividing us. He's saying, well, the 1% can pay more, right? But we need a uniter. We need to come together. We need a youth action unlike anything this country's ever seen. SOS Liberty, right back there, you can check out all our information. We'd love to have you visit our Facebook page. It's dedicated towards this. We are going to reduce this debt deficit. Our parents left us with a $16 trillion bill. By the time this presentation is done, our debt will have increased over $20 million. Now I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for you to visit our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter @LibertySOS, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/SOS Liberty. This is your future they're spending away. And you know what? The American dream, it's worth fighting for. Because we can turn the ship around. Brighter days are tomorrow. We can turn this around. We can save the ship. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like the worst speech I've ever heard. I've been to events where there have been worse speakers. And at 17, it was pretty remarkable. But I put myself, again, I've been to hundreds of these events around around different states and different counties. And I mean, I've been to a lot of these events. It was just sort of normal. Like it was just how people give a little speech at an event like this. Even at 46, 46 years old, there's nothing in that speech where I would walk up there and be like, I am just so, this guy's going to change the world. I don't know what you're doing, young man. I assume you're going to college, but you can't. You have to go change the world. You have to be the one. You're the chosen one. I'm going to spend hours on the phone with you cultivating a relationship. I'm going to spend hours on the phone with you making sure you don't go to college, making sure you believe that together we can travel around county Tea Party groups and beg for $50. To say I don't believe that origin story is an understatement. I believe nothing about that origin story. Nothing. He was a fine young man. He was a well-spoken guy talking about something I think a lot of people believe in, which is economic liberty, fiscal sanity, fiscal responsibility, however you want to put it. I mean, it's a normal thing people talk about at these type of meetings. But I didn't see anything in there where I thought, man, this guy's the truth. He's the future. And maybe that's why I've never discovered anybody. Maybe Bill has a better ability, a keener insight to be able to look at somebody like Charlie Kirk, give that speech and say, oh, this is the guy. This is the one. He's the one we've been waiting for. I'm going to call this guy and I'm going to spend hours on the phone with him. I'm going to cultivate a relationship. I'm going to encourage him not to go to college. I'm going to encourage him to follow me around the country. And we're going to go place to place and we're going to ask for little dollars here and there. I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, Travis over at X Nihilo on Twitter, he found all that. I'm not taking credit for any of that. When I saw it, I was like, I've got to share this. Like I watched it expecting to be floored. And maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm watching it with the expectation of Charlie Kirk, the cultural phenomenon, the national treasure, the guy people were pitching for president, the guy that was going out there raising 9 figures worth of money, leading an organization of hundreds of employees, sitting down in the White House, discussing, whether or not the president of the United States should launch a strike against a foreign country, right? I'm looking at it from that perspective. And I'm saying there's nothing in that speech that would have attracted, there's nothing in that speech that would have done anything to me. But I don't know. I don't want to get too caught up in it. I do want to bring in a guest here in just a moment. I'm going to set him up a second. I see him down in the corner looking down at his phone. I don't even know if he can hear me, but I want to bring him in just a moment. And I want to explain real quickly who he is. John Yep is an activist, a political activist, but he does it from a faith-based perspective. He is he's going out on a limb and he's taking a lot of heat for it. He's the guy who invited Candace Owens to speak at his annual gala, his fundraiser. But it turns out I got to apologize. I have something settling in my lungs. I think that's why I've been coughing so much lately. I'm getting sick. Now, all day I've had something settling in my lungs. I can feel it. So I apologize. I'll try to make a more liberal use of my cough button. But I want to bring him in. I do want to talk about the annual gala, but I also want to talk about specifically Charlie Kirk. He had a relationship with Charlie Kirk. He knew Charlie Kirk. And I think he can give us insight into a lot of things that are questionable right now. A lot of things that are being asked of different people, and people are weighing in on. I've got some clips I'm going to show him and ask him what he thinks about those. People saying, "Oh, Charlie, he was just attracted to the architecture of the Catholic Church. Oh, Charlie, he just liked to sit in solitude and peace and quiet." So I'm gonna play those clips. I'm gonna ask him honestly for his take on that. But I do want to bring him in now. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Baron.
All right. I don't know if you have an echo or not. Sometimes that's a problem we have on here. People get an echo, but I hope not. Good. Okay. So who is John Yep? Talk me through who you are, why you're here, and work in there, how you met Charlie, how long you've known him, and all that kind of stuff.
First of all, I've made it to the Baron Coleman podcast. I think it's an achievement. I better put that on my resume. But honestly, it's I'm grateful to be here. You know, you and so many other people have been teaming up with Candace and whoever just to stand for truth. You guys have risen out of nowhere, responded to, I kind of believe, a divine calling to stand up and take up this torch. Okay. So yeah, who am I? Love the phrase, the political activist. I mean, I'm almost like Charlie. I think he was saying towards the end of his life, like, it's not even politics that interests me that much. Charlie said that, right? I just want to bring people to know the Lord, right? I'm a Catholic. I live in Arizona, and my family knew Charlie before he became famous. Like Lamont, Illinois is literally where he had his first, Turning Point headquarters. It was a, Hodunk little garage, right? So I grew up right around there for a little bit. I intersected, and I reconnected after I left Catholic Seminary here in Phoenix, Arizona. Lo and behold, I'm like living down the street from where he was, and saw him, reconnected at the Turning Point USA America Fest 2022. And when I saw him, Baron, the first thing he asked for me is like, "Look, I'd love to connect with a Catholic priest." First thing he said. You obviously remember me from way back. And I said, "Well, yeah, 100%. Like, where do you live?" And, he mentioned the parish. I said, "Well," and he references mine. "There's that priest there that I think is good." I said, "No problem. I'll connect you." Right. So from there, I, connect him with the father. But our relationship, Baron, it wasn't just based on faith. And I'll get some more details about how that actually played out. It was a working relationship, so we were the ballot chasing partners for Turning Point USA. If you remember, that was like their big thing in 2024 election. It was tremendously successful. They chased down ballots, low propensity voters. Charlie's group came to me, and they said, like, "Look, you guys know the Catholic world. Here are 2.1 million names in 7 swing states. Can you guys run a volunteer organization that just chases down these ballots?" We did it, right? And team effort, and we achieved, with grace of God, the largest Catholic landslide in U.S. history. Trump got elected. The rest is history. But our relationship, apart from work, again, we did breakout sessions. Charlie let me have the first ever Catholic Mass at People's Convention in Detroit. That was a big win, and other things like that. But I most treasure is how we bonded at our faith. I would see him at Mass, daily Mass. We'd kind of fist pump on the way out. He would go to his headquarters, I would go to ours, and we'd be working. So there was a real, just kind of natural relationship that we've had. And I still believe in some, we're connected from wherever he is up above.
So you say you see him at daily Mass. So you guys, did you attend the same parish from time to time? Is that where you would see him at daily Mass, or
Absolutely. And I think in with the context, like, why, one of the reasons, obviously, I want to come on the show is I can't sit back, okay, as this clutch word seems to be like the key word they're all using now, specifically with Charlie's, where was he? Was he Catholic? Was he not Catholic? And, if you're not Catholic, you're watching this, you may be like, okay, we've heard that debate. Like, why does it actually matter? Why does it matter if he was Catholic or not? Right? Because as Charlie shifted towards Catholicism in his later years of his life, I know you made this point a million times on the show, that also coincided with his geopolitical shift away from a blind support for the 1948 state of Israel, #Zionism, right? The two went together. Why did they go together? Because the Catholic Church's doctrine is very clear in that matter. Charlie knew that. Okay. He firmly believed that. And I know, do you have that clip where he talks about his faith? Like he wants to, it's a 10-second piece because look, we're defending Charlie and what he wanted to be most known for. 10-second clip.
Yeah, let me upload it. Sure.
If I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith.
You want to be remembered.
There you go. From our friend Charlie, for his faith. What was his faith, right? That's a pretty big deal. Okay. And early on it was debated. The word architecture came up early on, and with the clips, I think we're going to play those. And I can comment on each of those. And it's continued into the most recent. I think it was Tracy Martin, who was a friend of Erika's, also put that out there. Charlie just liked the architecture. Well, let me tell you something. I wrote down 8 reasons why that's completely false. The 8 reasons why Charlie was Catholic. And I can go through those if one by one, but
well, let me back up a little bit. And I do want to play these clips because they're circulating a lot. You mentioned the Tracy Martin clip. I do have that one pulled up. I also have a clip of Father Klein, who was a priest there in the Scottsdale area, who's come up in this conversation. I got a clip of Andrew Colvett discussing it. We'll play all of it, but I want to take a step back a little more globally and explain to you why it interests me. It interests me because as I look at the death of Charlie Kirk and how did he die? Who is responsible for it? Not necessarily when I say how did he die, I don't mean what's the mechanism, what's the caliber round, or was it something else? When I say how he died, I mean, what was the motivation for removing him? And one of the things I keep coming back to is their insistent denial that Charlie had any attraction to or any desire to be Catholic. Not that being Catholic would have been a huge problem for his salvation, whether he was Catholic or not. I think most of the people, particularly Rob McCoy, I've heard him talking about it. I mean, I think he looks at Catholics and says, yeah, they're saved. They believe in Jesus. They go to heaven. We just do it differently. There are a lot of people that kind of believe that way. But from an investment into TPUSA, I think Charlie becoming Catholic would have devastated TPUSA as an organization because it had such a cultural identity with this Protestant brand of Christianity. I don't care which it was. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't get all bent out of shape about that. I don't get all lathered up about those things when it comes to political organizations. To me, it's, do they profess Jesus? Okay, good. I'm on their side. Let's from the sake of politics, let's just move on. We're on the same team. Let's go. But there are some people where it really bothers them. They'll only support an organization led by a Catholic, or they'll only support an organization led by a Protestant, or only support led by a Jewish person or something like that. So that's why this conversation interests me so well, because I look at this and I say, could this have been a reason he was killed? I don't know the answer to that, but I do want to play a couple of these recordings. I'll pull them up kind of in succession. Let's start with what I think is the biggest one. This is Father Klein. This is the priest that we were discussing moments ago. Do you want to explain before I bring it on who Father Don Klein is?
Father Klein is a very, very good priest. Okay. And, you asked me about that. He's going a lot right now. His father's on death's door right now. And Father Klein is well loved among the Scottsdale area. And, he has done many things. I mean, you speak about architecture, for what it's worth. The parish that he oversees has some of the most beautiful architecture in the state of Arizona. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to raise your mind and soul to God. Father Klein's the kind of person that 5 a.m., you go in the Adoration Chapel for Catholics. You don't know that. It's like a room where the Eucharist, we believe it's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ, is exposed. Father Klein be on there on his knees at 5 a.m. He has done many good things for the parish, and I can go on and on. So I say that in reference, and I think that it's always important. We can critique, point, everything like that, but we should have double the caution when criticizing a man to devote his life to God. Doesn't mean we don't point out faults or whatever like that, 100%. But I think we'd be very prudent with that on that. So this, and he's been a dear friend, right? So but let's let's
I think it's less
yeah.
than a minute here, but I want to play just a small clip of this because the beginning of the video opens. I don't know who recorded this or if they had his permission to record it, but it's been out there and we played
No,
it.
they didn't, and I think that was unfortunate. I think that there were better ways to handle that. You know, it was recorded. I think that the gotcha thing wasn't the best way to do it. I think there could have been other ways to do that. But that being said, I'll comment on what was said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a short clip of it here.
You know, Charlie Kirk getting murdered has been just so tragic. But I guess he was converting to Catholicism at the end. Is that right?
I don't know.
People have been talking about that. So anyway,
I don't know those people.
Okay.
Who's saying that?
Oh, well, there's a lot of people saying that he was converting to Catholicism, like at the end, and he attended like St. Bernadette, right?
Yeah, he would come here for mass on occasion, but I don't know anything about any converting to Catholicism.
So let me pick up from there. I don't want to criticize a priest. I don't want to criticize a Baptist pastor. I don't want to criticize anybody, right? For the sake of their religion or anything like that. If they're going crazy, obviously I feel like it's within my bounds to say something. But what say you about that? Do you have a different opinion than Father Klein when it comes to whether or not Charlie was intending to or intended to convert to Catholicism?
One of the most precious things about Catholicism is it's a gift. Is the confidence that when a soul approaches, translates over in the Protestant ministers too, is that intimate, personal connection where they're able to reveal stuff to a priest and have that sacred conscience space guarded, right? Obviously the sacrament seal of confession is the most sacred, right? So, but in a tangential way, when somebody like, for instance, Charlie would open up with Father Klein, it's a realm of priestly confidence, right? So I could see the father's making a prudential decision. Again, prudential means I could disagree with it. I'm going to tell you, I actually do disagree with it. That he's making it, you know what? That's between me and Charlie. Okay. That being said, you have some understanding why he might be doing that, right? Why do I disagree? Because in a certain sense, what are heroes, Baron? What are heroes for? Or, in Catholic Church, we have saints. Saints are people that have gone before us, okay, and have walked the walk, talked the talk. They, in the church, believe they're in heaven, and they're meant to be there to help us along our journey. So they belong to us in a certain way. Once someone lives a heroic lifestyle, like Charlie Kirk died in a heroic way, in a certain sense, they no longer belong just to their parish. They no longer belong just to their family. We, the people, we, the American people, have a right to know what his faith life was, right? And also, we play the clip. This is Charlie's own wish. I want to be remembered for my faith. Well, what was your faith? Okay. So, agree to disagree. I mean, again, fathers, I can see where he's coming from. I disagree with him. That's okay to disagree, right? And
so why do you disagree with him? You say you disagree with him.
The facts are, the facts speak for themselves. I mean, again, he might know all this and be like, I'm just not going to go into that. Fine. Okay. Now, the other reasons why Erika, for instance, or Andrew Colvett or Tracy Martin, I don't think there's any reason for that. I think it's a travesty. I think it's a lie. And I think it needs to stop because that's, if you can lie about somebody's faith and cover that up, what else are you capable of lying about?
But let me just back up and give a yes, no, if you can, or a yes, no with a qualifier if you need to. In your opinion, did he intend to become Catholic?
Yes. Why
do you say that?
Well, let's look at the reasons. Let's recap. I mean, reason number one is he not only attended weekly mass, he attended daily mass. Okay. You are required, if you're a Catholic, to go to Sunday mass. Daily mass is an option. We have a man who not only went to weekly, but he chose to go the extra effort of daily mass. Why is that? Number two, the famous debate about the Catholic Rosary. Charlie, in his interview with Michael Knowles in February of 2025, has had three things which he said I didn't agree with the Catholic Church about: transubstantiation, the Holy Father, and Our Lady. By the time that he died, that third reason, the Blessed Mother Devotion, Our Lady, was gone. He was praying the rosary. I have text messages where he said, I want Catholics praying the rosary for the president. And I sent him pictures of Our Lady. And he said, this is wow, amazing. And Candace revealed too that he was praying the rosary. So third reason, he had a Catholic spiritual director. That's a fact. The priest was a spiritual director. Okay. Number 4, he had a Catholic burial and funeral. That has been substantiated. I have seen pictures. I didn't take pictures, but it was revealed to me shortly before. Maybe it'll wind up on your show somehow, of the actual ceremony of Charlie having at a Catholic parish. Okay. That's not hearsay. That's legit. Okay. And yeah, according to Candace, and it's true, the people who went there signed NDAs. Why would you sign NDAs about a man's faith? That's insane, right? Number 5, you had Bishop Brennan. Charlie, on September 5th, 4th, was in Orange County, intersects with a Catholic bishop, Bishop Brennan. They run into him, and he says, I am this close to becoming Catholic. Okay. And then 7th reason is he died with that Catholic medal on to St. Michael. Okay. That's huge. He had the medal on. And then last but not least, and I think this is that goes to the will. Okay. Where was his will? Where did he want to go? And I know it's disagreement. Tracy says otherwise about the OCIA classes. What's an OCIA class for people who don't know this? It's the order of initiation for Christian adults. So if you're outside the Catholic Church, you want to become Catholic, what do? You sign up for OCIA classes. You go through a series of 5 months of them. And then on Easter Vigil, you're fully become full member of the Catholic Church, right? Parish staff, who I trust, I have to say this because I've debated whether to go into this for a long time, because obviously I know people that I love disagree or say different things, but within me, it's like if I'm quiet about this very important fact, these very stones will cry out, referencing the gospel. This staff member told us early on that Charlie had committed to the OCIA classes, and it was only a question of when to fit it into his schedule. That, Baron, is an act of the will. That's fundamental. It's baptism by desire, if you will. He already was baptized, but in a similar way, this guy was committed to becoming Catholic. He's Catholic. He died a Catholic. That's in that way, I would say.
So, and again, this is the last point you made is kind of the one that's been probably debated the most. It's did he intend to attend the OCIA or RCIA or whatever it's called these days? I think it's OCIA now. It was RCIA. Did he intend to attend the classes, sign up for the classes to become a Catholic, to do the Catholic conversion? And your the staff member at St. Bernadette that you talked to said yes. Yes, that's correct. And that source is someone I trust more than Tracy, for instance, who said something to the contrary. Don't get lost in the wordplay about, well, he wasn't in OCI classes yet. I think that was their exact wording. I would be more specific and precise too, and I trust, honestly, the staff member said it was just a question of time before or for him to work out a schedule. That's big. He had committed though. So if we're wrong about this, then I think they need to be very strong against it, saying it's false. Oh, I'm always open to correction. Like I give my opinion. I put out what I perceive as facts. If somebody has other facts, I will make a correction in a heartbeat. If somebody remember this too, man. It's like the person saying that, Tracy or whoever, that he wasn't in an OCIA classes is the same group of people that are saying architecture was his only motivation to sit inside that church a few times a week. Right. So, let me play the clip of you've referenced the clip of Tracy Martin. Let me play this. Tracy Martin, for those that don't know, is the allegedly Erika Kirk's best friend. It's a little weird to me because, as you'll see, despite her attempts to not look much older than Erika Kirk, I believe she is. I mean, she strikes me as 20 plus years older than Erika, but apparently they're best friends. Here is her take on the situation.
Was Charlie Catholic? Was Charlie enrolled in OCIA courses and things like that?
No, and it's funny because on the conversation with Candace and I, she brought up all these things, and I know it was because of my relationship with Eric, I'm sure. He was not taking classes. She said that people told her that he just liked the architecture, and so I threw myself into that because my husband's Catholic, my older daughter is Eastern Orthodox Catholic. I love going to the church to sit in it in reverence and tradition.
Beautiful.
Yes, that's literally, and again, it's not that deep. That's literally what it was. So he was not Catholic. He was not taking classes. He was doing none of those things, you know.
And so you would look at that and say, let's just give her the best shade of light. Maybe she's just misinformed.
We'll go to the source. Where did she get it from? Erika.
Yeah.
Dear Erika, we see you at Mass yourself. We're hearing this. Is it really, how does that possibly sync with 8 facts about his move towards Catholicism, which counter the architecture gate? If that's like the new way, to phrase it, that's not what's adding up. So I think that's,
let me play one more clip. This is Andrew Colvett talking, basically on the same question. Now the Tracy Martin clip was relatively recently. This was several months ago. But let me play this clip of Andrew Colvett talking to Alex Clark on her podcast.
You got the Catholics claiming him and the evangelicals claiming him. And
was he becoming Catholic?
No, but he really loved Catholic Mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the stained glass.
And him and Erika would go sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erika's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic and First Communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more experience. It was actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of non-denominational. And I think Erika kind of follows that same path.
So here's Andrew saying, no, not only is Charlie not Catholic, but Erika's probably not even really Catholic either, which is strange to me because I see a lot of this, and you may too also, and other people in other churches might. Like say maybe the wife is Baptist and the husband is a non-believer, but he wants to be part of the family, so he goes to the Baptist church with his wife. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't look at that man and say, he's Baptist. But if they're both non-believers and they're going to the Baptist church, you might wonder, why are they here? They strike me as somewhat Baptist if they're both at the Baptist church. Same thing in the Catholic church. You might have one who's Catholic and one who's atheist, or one who's Catholic and one who's Presbyterian, and they go to church together to support each other, right? And I've known families that have gone to 2 services every weekend. They'll go to the Catholic service, and then afterwards they'll drive over to the First Presbyterian church, and they basically belong to 2 churches. I want to say.
They must not have kids, by the way. They're going to 2 services. I mean, that's a lot for kids. I'm impressed if they can do that.
I want to say it's the Florida governor does that. I could be wrong, but it's somebody down there. One of the people running for office down in Florida used to do that. They'd go to the Catholic church and then they go to the Protestant church right afterwards. But if neither of you are Catholic, what are you doing in a Catholic church? So how do you respond to these couple of clips?
Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's a duck, right? So, I mean, 8 refutable reason, and also personal text with Charlie as well on this matter. I mean, this bridges over in our whole Candace. We've been connected with Candace, like Catholic for Catholics, our group, which is again tries to get Catholics engaged in the fight for America. When Candace became Catholic, this was right after her famous "Christ is King" tweet from the Daily Wire that shot her around the world, right? She became Catholic, and we wanted just to kind of throw her a kind of a celebration, like, hey, welcome to our church. We're praying for you as a sister in Christ. Okay. So we brought her to Phoenix, Arizona. She came, we had a little mass for her, and then talk. You can see it online. And I remember, I was looking through this now just before the show, texting Charlie about the specific event, right? So this is May 2024. And I sent him the flyer right here for our event, and he said, very cool, right away. And then I told him, I said, Charlie, every day we pray for you in adoration so that because I told him you're more Catholic than the Pope. We had a kind of a crazy Pope back then, and we can't wait for the day we're going to throw a similar party. And then he responded right away. He says, just between us, I've been trying to see my priest, and don't share anything, but I'm interested in becoming a Catholic, right? And thank you for your prayers. I love Catholicism. So that's a pretty big deal, man, for a statement of volition from this individual on that. So I think it just syncs with what we have seen, and I'm confused about why they're trying to obfuscate this or cover up with a lie.
I'm a little confused by it as well, but I feel like we've sort of beat that part. Let me go forward to his death, because there's there was an issue where I know Milo Yiannopoulos got on Timcast and said he was 100% sure Charlie had not been buried. He was confused by that. It would be confusing if he wasn't. What do you know about whether Charlie had a funeral, and what sort of form that took?
I wasn't the one that, it's not like breaking news that there was a Catholic funeral that's been reported by other sources, right? It's Candace and others have confirmed, so they have their sources who say that. I can add to that I have actually seen pictures of the people gathering for the funeral at a Catholic parish. And also I've seen pictures of the burials of the ceremony at the actual Catholic cemetery as well. So again, I could see from one point of view how they might want to protect, just the parish identity and safety and all that kind of stuff. But why are we sitting on this? It should be a special thing, that we celebrate in this regard. And I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's very bizarre to me, and maybe it's because I'm a Catholic convert and I don't view it as a particularly massive deal, right? I mean, it's a big deal in that I do believe in the Catholic faith, and I took it seriously enough to pursue it, and lost friends over it, and had people take me to lunch and tell me I was going to hell and all that. I mean, I've heard it all, and then I've been very active Catholic since then. Some of my commenters don't like it and they ask me questions about it, but I don't mind. I'll answer any question anybody asks me to the extent I know. Sure. But I'm just very confused by this just desire to say they won't even say he's buried because they don't want to say he's in a Catholic cemetery. Like that is so weird to me. Like we would rather you think we've just got him propped up by the jukebox than to think then you guys might think 5 months later he's lying in the ground somewhere because it's a Catholic cemetery, and we don't want you to know that. It's just a very cult-like, almost a deeply dishonest approach to this man's life. And then they turn around and accuse us of dishonoring his legacy or dishonoring his life or attacking this or attacking that. I'm like, you guys won't even say he's buried. You won't even tell people he's in rest. That bothers me. That bothers me a little bit. I do want to say this, since you're here, I'm a big believer in what you guys are doing at Catholic for Catholics. I know you're having the event where Candace is speaking. We have a lot of fans of hers in the audience. Tell us a little bit about your event. When is it? Where is it? And if people wanted to go, they wanted to see Candace speak live. Matt Walsh also is committed to speak live, and some others. Is it Michael Flynn, one of the speakers?
General Michael Flynn, yep, former national security advisor, and a priest and a religious nun, and some more surprises that we got coming about speakers. But yeah, we're an activist group, right? We get engaged on political, cultural stuff, but at the end of the day, it is about prayer, right? So our yearly event, our signatory event, is called Catholic Prayer for America, right? And this year, it's in DC for the 250th anniversary. It's gonna be a major event, and yes, we've invited Candace has accepted our invitation to come. This is her first public appearance for like 2 years, and the last time she spoke was actually at our welcome home mass. So she's coming, and of course, you better believe it. It's drawn the ire and attention of a lot of people. And Baron, as I was debating and praying about whether how this would all fit in and the pushback we would no doubt get should this warrior Candace come and speak at our event, I honestly thought about Charlie. I mean, like literally, it's just surreal, man. It's like he was literally having the same kind of thought process. What was it, July, August of this past year, of will I invite Candace Owens to AmFest? And it was almost surreal. I was like, whoa, like I get what I get to a small degree what you were going through, right? And we went ahead, we went max and brought her on, and of course we received a ton of blowback. And I really think there's several reasons. I mean, obviously she's talking about who's really behind the Charlie Kirk assassination, but it's also affronting that element of Zionism. Okay, and did you guys cover the whole Carrie Prejean thing with being fired from the Religious Liberty Commission? Or not so much.
We did just in passing. Passing. The only thing we covered about it was she's a Catholic. She was challenging that you don't have to be a Zionist to be a Christian, and for that was removed off of removed off of the
Yeah, and this false equating that, oh my gosh, if you don't believe that we have a biblical mandate to support the 1948 state of Israel, as many Catholic Christians believe, you don't have that, then that's not the same as saying you're anti-Semitic, okay? I mean, obviously, anti-Semitism is wrong, which is just hatred of the Jews. We don't have that, right? So Carrie Prezan was on this Religious Liberty Commission, okay? This is the group that President Trump started under the DOJ, and it's had some great initiatives, like they announced the America Praise campaign back in September to bring prayer back to America. And, they have had a series of hearings, and one of the last hearings that had fireworks all over it was specifically when it was on anti-Semitism, right? And Carrie was speaking up. In fact, she was trying to have a Jewish rabbi come to the floor and say, hey, we love America more than we love the nation state of Israel, and we feel like second-class Jews. She tried to get their voices heard on the Religious Liberty Commission. They stopped her, okay? And then there's the fireworks. They kind of debate back and forth. And, the next day, she's booted off the commission. Why? Because they were saying she's anti-Semitic or whatever. Okay, so we saw this happening, and Candace actually let me know about it, and I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Everyone's dogpiling on this girl, and she's former Miss California, and she's removed, and we just took a step. So, you know what? This is stop. This bullying is stop. Charlie hated this bullying, right? That famous clip where he said, I'm done with people like pressuring me not to have people on my thing for their beliefs. So we said, you know what? We're going to give Carrie an award, okay? We're going to give her an award at our event, March 19th in D.C. at the Catholic Prayer for America. That sent Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, and everybody else up in arms and coming down our throats for a prayer event, right? But, so this event, it's special, it's unique, it's and I think I encourage it. We've had tremendous response. Yeah, we got a lot of negative feedback, but there's the silent majority. The silent majority is there. They understand the truth.
Is there a website that can go and get more information and grab a ticket?
In the show notes, cforc.com, and then there's a code Baron, and you take $100 off your ticket purchase.
One
and,
R.
With one R.
Baron with one R. Yeah,
exactly.
$100 off. I'm worth $100. I like
it. Up, man. I shoot up. Yeah, it's yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir.
I like that.
So, and we encourage you, and even if you can't be there, just to bring this to be united with us on that day. So it's an important day for us as a country and a group.
Well, John Yep, I appreciate you stopping by. Catholics for Catholics. If you guys aren't familiar with them, and like what he has to say, jump in there, check him out. And John, appreciate you taking the time to stop by with us.
Keep up the great work, Baron. Appreciate this, and yeah, we're avid listeners of your show, and wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, John. We'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. So we've got another segment to go. I have to clean up. I appreciate John for stopping by. John's a good guy. I have to clean up a little bit of a timeline that we have begun to put together. I was talking to Mrs. Coleman about it. I said, Mrs. Coleman, are you following the timeline with Lori Frantzve and all that? And she's like, no, I don't really follow the timeline. So I want to go through this real quickly. And I want to pull up a few little bits of news and information as I go through this, because I think Lori Frantzve is going to play a greater and greater role, in my opinion, in Candace's story as she continues to go on. And so I want to bring up a few things here and run you through sort of the life and times of Lori Frantzve, because it's a little confusing. And I think it'll benefit all of us. It certainly benefited me to run through my little Lori Frantzve file. So Lori Frantzve was born in 1950. She was in Washington, Pennsylvania. That's far western Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh. She was born Loretta Ann Abbas, Abbas. You might recognize the name if you follow geopolitics. The leader of the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank is Mahmoud Abbas. Same last name, Abbas. Loretta Ann Abbas. Her parents, Joseph and Angelina Abbas. I have some photos, believe it or not, of our dear friend Loretta. So let me show you some high school yearbook photos here. This is Loretta Abbas as a freshman. This is Loretta Abbas as a sophomore. I have Loretta Abbas as a junior, believe it or not. She's over here on the left-hand side. Right there. And I have Loretta Abbas as a senior. There's Loretta Abbas as a senior. So it's interesting to me to go from freshman to senior. She's a different looking individual. Don't ever email that email address. It'll get you blocked for life for my emails. By the way, I block everyone who emails that email address. You email realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. That's the way we do it. It's a kind of a group effort we have here. All right. Now, after she graduates from high school, she says in her senior yearbook, she wants to go to Miller Drawn Business College in Ohio. Well, she does. She does. And she ends up in Ohio, and she ends up married. She ends up married to a guy named, not Frantzve. No. We're not there yet. You don't get ahead of yourselves. She ends up married right here to James Stanley, 22 years old, and Loretta Ann Abbas, 19 years old, both of Cincinnati. This is the marriage licenses for Campbell County. I will submit to you, because we pulled the marriage license, or Daisy pulled the marriage license. She was married May 9th of 1969. About 7 or so months later. Now you do the math. You do the math here. I'm not going to do the math because I don't want to be pointing things out that I shouldn't be pointing out. But she's married in May, and she gives birth in December to a woman named Tanya. She is now born as Tanya Stanley, but she is later, I believe, adopted, almost positive she's adopted, and is born on 5th of December, 1969. So we listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. But parents married in May. She's born in December, 1969. The fact that her father is listed as Kent Randall Frantzve, who she did not meet for another 13 years, probably means that Kent Frantzve was not the actual donor that contributed half of her DNA. Rather, it probably means that there was an abortion. No, not abortion, excuse me. An adoption. Gosh. That came out all wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I won't say that again. All right, so that brings us up. So that's the older sister. That's the older sister. So we're in 1969. We're in 1969. We fast forward just 4 years. And there's a divorce. Loretta Stanley gets divorced from James Stanley right here. And the cause, if you look here, is listed as extreme cruelty. Now, I'm not making light of that. That's not funny. I just never seen it. I've never seen it listed in a divorce record a day in my life. That's just how it was written, and I'm just showing you what it is. So what you have here is a 3.5-year-old daughter. You now have Loretta Stanley, who's divorced from James Stanley. I don't know where, frankly, Daisy probably does, but I don't know where James Stanley goes after that. I did not track him down anymore after that. And then 8 months later, so she was divorced in May of 1973. And then in December of 1973, there's your December date right there, 1973, she is remarried. She gets remarried to a guy named John Walstad. So again, she is, this is her second marriage. She brings in to this marriage, she brings in a 4-year-old little girl. I make no conclusions about, it was only 8 months and all that. I don't know her situation. I don't know anything about that. I'm just pointing out the timeline. I'm just showing you the timeline as things add up here. So that drives us from her birth in 1950 up to now she's 23 years old. She's got a 3 or 4-year-old little girl, and she is now on her second marriage. If you go to the actual marriage license itself, it points out that she has a marriage from a child from a previous marriage, and it mentions Tanya right here. So this is showing Tanya, age 3. This is the certificate of marriage here to John Walstad. And it mentions that she was previously married to James Stanley and has little Tanya here in tow. Now notice there's no Kent Frantzve yet. We've not gotten to that part yet. We've not gotten to that part. So now we fast forward a few years. I want to switch from Lori for just a moment over to Erika's father, Kent Frantzve, because believe it or not, I had this lined up before Candace's show today, but Kent Frantzve buys a house in 1978 with Jerry Frantzve, his wife at the time, Jerry Frantzve. They bought this house April 10th of 1978, and it's in Arizona. So here is automatically already very early on a family tie to Arizona 10 years before Erika Kirk is born. And I raise that because if you listen to Erika tell her narrative, if you listen to Erika tell her story, it's as if everything took place on the East Coast and her family grew up in Cincinnati and everything was taking place over there. And then her mom just happened upon Arizona for whatever reason, chasing a government contract. She said she had a mentor over there in Arizona. But the reality is Kent Frantzve already had a life in Arizona. There was already a life in Arizona, in Maricopa County. That's where Phoenix is. That's the only reason I bring that up. Only reason I bring that up is just to kind of point out that this is already happening. Now, 1978, while Kent, who I'm guessing doesn't know yet, is making a life for himself and his new wife, Jerry, in Arizona, Lori takes up working at General Electric. You'll notice this right here. June of 1978. Lori Frantzve takes up working for General Electric. Now, I will submit to you, this with all likelihood was General Electric in Minnetonka, Minnesota. They made I want to say valves, but that's kind of if you've been following the Charlie Kirk story, you say someone makes valves, all of a sudden there's a CIA connection. They made membranes. They made water filtration membranes. So this is Lori Frantzve. This is her LinkedIn, 1978 to 1994. For 16 years and 4 months, she worked at General Electric. At the time in 1978, I believe she was in Minnetonka, Minnesota. We'll follow her and see where else she goes here in just a moment. Now, we just showed you that in April of 1978, Kent Frantzve was buying a house with Jerry. Less than 1 year later, in March of 1979, this is a clip from the divorce records. This is Jerry and Kent's divorce as recorded in the divorce records. Jerry L. and Kent R. were getting divorced in March of 1979. So they bought a house in April of 78. They get divorced in 1979. Why do I bring that up? Because Lori Frantzve then gets divorced just over a year later in May of 1980. This is her second divorce. So she is living in, I believe, working at the Minnetonka place. This is a divorce record out of Minnesota's Department of Health, which would bolster my position that she was at the time living in the Minneapolis area, working at the Minnetonka location, but I don't know. But this is John R. Walstad and Lori A. Walstad getting divorced in 1980 at the age of 30. And so now you have Lori Walstad with an 11-year-old little girl, 10 or 11-year-old little girl, Tanya, and she's been divorced twice. You have Kent Frantzve. He's been divorced once. Frantzve's living in Arizona. She's living in Minnesota. So what's the next thing we know? There's allegedly a marriage. I know everyone I know working on this case has tried to find this marriage record and nobody can find it. We're all coming up aces on this. But Lori allegedly married Kent Frantzve November 7th of 1982. They had a divorce decree. Typically, to get a divorce, the judge has to see your marriage certificate. So I'm assuming one exists. So that's Lori's third marriage. This would be in 1982. She's 32 years old. I wish I could pull something up and show you. I don't have it. But what I do have is I have the deed to her house that she and Kent bought the next year. No longer in Minnesota is she. She is now in Marblehead, Massachusetts. This is the house they bought right here at 66 Overlook Road in Marblehead, Massachusetts. They paid $115,000 for it. That's a hefty sum. That's a hefty sum back then. That's real money. It's a beautiful neighborhood right on the coast in Massachusetts, on the north side of Boston, just across the bay from Salem, Massachusetts. It's a very, very nice house. Somebody's making a little money. Somebody has a little money to spend here to have $115,000 at this point. Keep in mind, she's had a pretty good job, I guess, at GE since 1978. It's just 4 or 5 years into that. Now, there is a GE plant near here in Lynn, Massachusetts. Remember, if you go back to her LinkedIn profile, she was still working with General Electric at this time. So she started in June 1978. By 1983, she's still working with General Electric. Well, if she's still working with General Electric and she went from Minnesota to Massachusetts, it only makes sense to me that she transferred from the Minnetonka plant that made membranes to the Massachusetts plant in Lynn, Massachusetts that made jet engines. They make engines that power aircraft, helicopters and jets and stuff like that. So this is just a walk through Lori Frantzve's life so that we have a better understanding of who this woman is, who allegedly, fought, scrapped, and raised Erika Kirk basically solo. But that was her deed. So that was her moving in with Kent after the alleged marriage in November of 1982 that nobody can find. And then just 3 years later, here's a record where they sell the house in 1985. They sell the house in 1985, right here for $195,000 in October of 1995, right there. So they made a pretty penny on it. They made 80 grand on it in 3 years. That's a pretty nice deal. That's a pretty nice deal right there. Okay, so we've gotten all the way to 1985. Tanya, by this time, is 15, 16 years old. Kent is living in the house. Lori's working at GE. I'm assuming at some point in here, and I don't have it, but I'm assuming at some point in this area, they move to Ohio. Because from 1985 to 1997, there are records to suggest they live in Ohio, in the Cincinnati area. 1988, we'll go back to the LinkedIn real quick. 1988, Lori leaves General Electric, or no, stays at General Electric. This is never quite understood. She's still working at General Electric in 1988, allegedly, according to her LinkedIn. She's still at General Electric, but she switches over and is now working also, it looks like, at Cincinnati Bell. I don't know what she's doing for them. I don't know if it's a consulting gig on the side, but she's leading the ISO 9000 effort as the lead auditor in Australia, Germany, England, and Netherlands. This threw up a huge red flag to me, because I've long wondered, when did this woman transition into the military contracting business? Because living in Marblehead, Massachusetts and working at the Lynn, Massachusetts GE plant doesn't really lend itself to, flipping into the intel business. You remember she was listed a few episodes ago. We showed you where she was listed in an NSA database full of spies. So, or full of people with contracts with the National Security Agency. So at what point do you go from, working at General Electric to being even available to be discovered to go into working into some sort of national security industry? I would suggest it's this right here. This ISO 9000, you might have heard it as ISO 9001. 9001's the how to get certified in 9000. But if you're the lead auditor and you're in Australia, Germany, England, and the Netherlands, we talked about the Netherlands. If you spent time in the Netherlands, there's a high likelihood you've been exposed to spies. I don't know. It doesn't mean you're a spy, but it means you talked to them, whether or not you knew they were. The Netherlands is just a spy territory. That's all it is. Foreign workers in the Netherlands, a lot of them are spies. So this would be the time, in my opinion, in Lori's life when she would get that approach, if indeed she ever got the approach. But at some point, this is that time, in my opinion. When I saw Australia, Germany, England, and Netherlands, I thought, bing, ding, 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 ding. I can't prove anything based on this one little line on her LinkedIn, but I can sure speculate that she definitely ran across some people along this time period right here. Definitely, absolutely ran across some people in this time period right here. So she's flipped over. She's either switched to working exclusively for Cincinnati Bell or is working simultaneously with GE and Cincinnati Bell. Her LinkedIn is unclear. Regardless, it's this same time period. The same time period. She starts working Cincinnati Bell in September 1988. She would have been like 7 months pregnant when she flipped over there. Because Erika Kirk was born on 20th of November, 1988. So she would have been like 7 months pregnant. I noticed this little gap here. And then went and looked at some other records in Ohio. This is an open record source, so it's not like we're outing anything. And she's been very clear about what her birthday is on Wikipedia, so I'm not like I'm outing anything here. But I went and I looked at this gap, this 15, 16-day gap between the 20th of November of 88 and the 5th of December of 88 when the birth was registered. And I'll submit to you that's a little longer of a gap than exists in nearly every other record that's reported in the birth records. And of course, my mind begins to wander because that's what good investigatory work does. It looks for patterns, and when it sees a break in the pattern, it stops and goes, wait a minute, why is there a break in that pattern? Tanya, for example, her older sister, her birth was on one day, and I think her registration was like 5 or 6 days later. This goes on over and over in the records. It's usually less than a week lag, 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, 6 days, 4 days. A 15, 16-day gap is a little unusual. I don't know what that means. You guys might know what that means. You guys might have some knowledge of what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm just pointing out the gap. It's a little unusual. It's a little bit of an unusual gap. But nevertheless, this is what's going on in Lori's life. Her older sister is now 19 years old, Tanya, her half-sister, Lori's other daughter, who appears to have been adopted by Kent. So I guess a full sister in that respect. Half biological sister, but full sister legally, is now 19 years old. It's 1988. Erika's just arriving on the scene. And then we have this, and I'm going to play a little clip here because it gives us a little bit of a timeline. It gives us a little bit of a timeline of what happens after this 1988 event here. So here is a clip of Erika Kirk talking in 2020 with her Fergie bump to two podcasters, and I don't even know what these people do. Calvary Conversations. I guess they have some access to the Calvary Chapel movement. But let's listen to how she describes moving to Arizona.
Church with my mom. It was her raising me. So we were out here, moved out here when I was 5. And then my dad followed, but we would always go to church together. And I remember seeing, because she was an entrepreneur, and I remember seeing her work endless hours with her company. And on Sunday, we would be sitting in the pew. I never went to the kids portion of church. I was always with her in the adult portion. And I remember every time when the tithing portion of the church came up, and she would always write a check. And
the important part was right off the bat. I just didn't want to play like an 8-second clip. She moved when she was 5. She said she moved to Arizona, and then her dad followed. And it was her mom who was raising her. That was the story there. I moved when I was 5. Then my dad followed. It was my mom raising me. I'll submit to you, the only part of that was true was that she moved there when she was 5. I do believe that. I think they moved there in around 1993, 1994. Right in that era somewhere. But I don't believe that her dad then followed. And I'll say this. Her parents didn't get divorced for 6 years after that. Like I'll use my own personal life. My parents divorced when I was very young. I still to this day don't know how old they were when I divorced. I have no idea. I could have been 2, I could have been 4. I know it was before I have like solid memories of life, right? I don't have a memory of them being married. I don't have a memory of living together. So it had to be before I was like 5. But by the time I was 11, like I have core memories. I knew every word to Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby by the time I was 11. Like if my parents didn't divorce till I was 11, I would not confuse that with 5. But that's what the records show. And we'll get there in just a second. But I'm doing this on a timeline. In 1994, Lori leaves. Let me go back to this here. 1994, Lori leaves both jobs. She was working at Cincinnati Bell and working at GE, according to her LinkedIn. Now, maybe she'd left GE and just got the dates wrong. I don't know. But it's, I believe she still worked at GE because there was a People magazine report that said that she had worked at GE for nearly 2 decades. And 16 years, I guess, could be considered nearly 2 decades. So I don't know if she was working at both places or how that worked, but whatever. By 1994, she's not working at either place. She's left both positions. She's no longer at Cincinnati Bell. She's no longer at General Electric. She's moved to Arizona. Erika says she moved to Arizona to pursue government contracting because she had this opportunity. She had somebody who was kind of a mentor out there. She was a little vague about that. We'll take a guess in just a second who that mentor was. But I want to show this gap that has arisen in Lori's resume here. There's a gap that exists because she leaves General Electric and leaves Cincinnati Bell in 1994. And then there's nothing else listed on the LinkedIn page from 1994 to 2003. That's a 9-year gap. That's a 9-year gap. And before, we've had no indication of what she was doing during those 9 years. Now, we know she was still married to Kent Frantzve for the next 5 years. But we've got no indication of what it was she was doing during those 5 years, except for one piece of information. Daisy dug up this one piece of information, and it gives us a little idea of maybe who this mentor was that she was moving to Scottsdale, Arizona to see. Said her mom had a mentor in Arizona. Here is the name of perhaps your mentor, Lawrence Guinta. Lawrence Guinta, who lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, files for a patent at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And other listed names on the patent are Lori Frantzve, right there. That's another listed name on the patent. So obviously they knew each other. She's working at Cincinnati Bell, or she's working at GE, or she's working at both. She leaves to move to Scottsdale, Arizona to pursue government contracting. There's this 9-year gap on her resume where she doesn't appear to be working anywhere. She doesn't say she's working anywhere. But there's this one record that gives us some kind of idea that in 1994, at least December 8th of 1994, she's listed on a patent with Larry Guinta, on a patent application with Larry Guinta. So it's possible that the mentor she was going to see was Larry Guinta. We'll talk in a minute about why that might matter. 1995, I won't pull the record up, but in 1995, after Erika and her mother leave for Scottsdale, Arizona, her older sister Tanya gets married. She takes the last name Segrist. She marries a guy named Carl Segrist. So Segrist is not an Erika Frantzve family name. It's her half-sister, full sister by adoption's husband's family. That's the Segrists. She's age 25 at this point. She gets married. It's in 1997 1997 that if I can find the filing here. Here we go. So 1997 that Lori first opens a company called AZ Tech. This is the actual filing of that. This is AZ Tech right here. This is filed on the 11th day of August, 1997. This is filed by the incorporator here, but this is her company. This is Lori Frantzve's company. There's her signature right there. She's the statutory agent for AZ Tech. It's interesting to me this was filed in Cincinnati, Ohio, though. Remember, she moved to Arizona to get into the government contracting business. She moved to Arizona in 1993 or 1994 when Erika's just 5 years old. But when she goes to open a business 3 years later, and it's called AZ Tech, meaning I would guess Arizona, like AZ, the state two-letter initial for Arizona, she goes back and files it under her old address in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know who was living in that address at the time? I think Kent Frantzve was living there. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. And it throws a whole wrench into this narrative that Lori Frantzve was sort of this boss babe mom, hardworking entrepreneurial type, didn't need a man, married 4 times, you know, CEO and left and right, filing patents, traveling the world, getting into the government contracting space. But 3 years after she moves to Arizona, she opens a business and uses as the home address for that business her dad's address in Ohio. And they're not divorced yet. And so I get this weird kind of, I can't add this up. I cannot make what Erika is saying make sense. It doesn't make sense to me that, oh, the dad came later and, oh, my mom raised me and, oh. But your mom was opening businesses at your dad's house in Cincinnati and they were still married. It doesn't sound like she left Kent Frantzve in 1994 and went to Arizona. It sounds like they very much still had some kind of relationship going on. I don't know too many people that leave their husband and then open a business at their house, at their husband's house. I've not seen it in practice. I've never encountered it in the wild. Whether or not it happened here, I don't know. I can't make sense of it. I wish I could make sense of it. I can't make sense of it. I wish I had some sort of story where I'm saying, and here's what it means. I don't know. I know what it doesn't mean. I know what it doesn't mean. It means that Erika's story is not right. I do know that. The story Erika is telling is inaccurate. Now, whether it's because she was 5, 8 years old and doesn't know and just hearing family lore and wasn't paying attention to her mom's filings, I'm open to that. I'm open to that. But I know it's not right. I know it's not right. Shortly after she opens the business in Ohio, AZ Tech, Larry Guinta and Lori file a new patent. This patent is filed, the application date, April 6, 1998. The publication date is July of 2000. Keep in mind, she is still married to Kent Frantzve at this moment. Her business is still headquartered, legally incorporated, at Kent's house in Cincinnati, Ohio. But she's opening the patents with Larry Guinta. This is her second patent they've filed together. She goes to Arizona because there's some mentor there. Those are Erika's words, not mine. She wanted to get into the defense contractor space, wanted to work for government, had a mentor out there. It's starting to look to me like the mentor was Larry Guinta. That's the only one I can find her doing any business with out there. 1998, she buys a house. Keep in mind, she's still married. But she buys a house. She is an unmarried woman, it says. But that's not accurate. She's quite married at this point. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but this is not accurate. She buys a house as an unmarried woman, but she is very much married. Because she's not been divorced. She's still married to Ken Frantzve, who lives in the house where her business is headquartered in Ohio, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. April 7th of 1998 is the recording, the file stamp date up here. And just in case you need to look at the whole thing, this is it. But this is the deed to that house. And then 3 days after that, you might say, well, they had a separation agreement in place. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. On April 7th, when she signed that paperwork, there was no separation agreement in place. Because here is the separation agreement in here. This separation agreement was signed 3 days after she bought the house in right there, April 10th of 1998. April 10th of 1998. This is the, I guess, the amendment to the separation agreement, but it was all filed at the exact same time. You can tell from the file stamp dates. And so I don't know what to make of this. Like it's very weird to me. This whole thing is very, very weird to me. It's clear to me this Larry Guinta is very much a part of Lori's life, perhaps as early as 1994. About the time she up and leaves Cincinnati, up and leaves Kirk Parishioner and heads to Scottsdale, it looks like they're already filing things together, filing patents together. And it wouldn't be that strange, except here is the record of where they end up getting married. This is her fourth marriage to Larry Guinta, Lawrence Guinta, right there. Marriage date, July 8, 2001. A couple of years after her divorce is final. 7 years after the first patent application. 7 years after she's moved to Arizona to be near her mentor. And again, the only person I can find her doing any business with whatsoever between 1994 and 2001 is Larry Guinta. That's it. It's the only person I can find. Now, what happened to her dad? Because in 2003, her dad shows up on the scene with a purchase of a property here with Charlie Frantzve. And this is dated, where's the date on this? This was dated, what is the date I have on this? September of 2003. September of 2003. I don't know if this is the first time Dad moved out there or not. He had connections to Arizona before. You remember he lived in the Phoenix area before. But that's Dad and new stepmom, Charlene. And again, it's about this time. I don't remember if you guys remember the episode from The Sweet Life. But it's about this time that Lori Frantzve starts showing up with strange things in her past that don't make sense. Like this Joint Service Achievement Medal for classified operations during Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, where you had to be in the military in order to qualify for this medal. So we've got this long gap where it doesn't look like she's working anywhere. It's about 9 years. She filed a few patents, but there's no like resume entry. There's no job. There doesn't appear to be any contracts associated with it. There's this 9 to 10 year gap where Lori's doesn't seem to be making any money. Now, I don't know. Is she sponging off of Larry Guinta? Is he a high roller in this time? I don't know. They weren't married for another 7 years after that. But we get this weird gap. Again, if you hear Erika tell the story, her mom was like this headstrong CEO type, leading her own business, very entrepreneurial. There should be business records to support that. There aren't any. The only thing we have is a single patent application. And then in 2007, as we're moving our way through this, 4 years after Charlene and Kent buy a house in Arizona together, that's when the family officially registers Everyday Heroes Like You. And underneath that banner of Everyday Heroes Like You, Erika starts throwing every type of charity you can possibly think of. You've got the Romanian Angels. You had some dog walking thing or some dog event, or I don't know what it was. There's this series of strange charities that Erika claims she has. And none of them seem to make any money, because if you look up Everyday Heroes Like You on the IRS website, they've never filed a 990. They've never made more than $50,000 in revenue. But it's the year after the charity opens, the 2008 year after the charity opens. And again, this is going back to previous episodes. But you remember when this like flood of government contracts comes flooding in through AZ Tech or E3 Tech or whatever. That's when she starts hitting the contract lottery. It was the year after the Everyday Heroes Like You opens up, the year after they start having this excuse to fly over to Romania a couple times a year. And there was a couple years after that when the leak comes out, and all of a sudden Erika's mom is in this CIA NSA leak that has, hundreds of contacts within the CIA and NSA industry. And right square in the middle of it is Lori Frantzve. Again, we played that in the previous episode. This episode's getting long, and I don't want to keep pulling stuff up. But I say all of this, I bring all this up not to bash Erika for anything her mom did. But I bring it up to point out that when there are major plot holes in a story, don't blame us if our minds wander. Don't blame us if we start to ask, what do these plot holes represent? Why do they exist? What are they doing here? What did your mom do for 9 years when she doesn't list anything on LinkedIn and she appears to have no government contracts, but she's in the government contracting business? What is she doing? And what did she do in order to win a joint service medal that requires you be in the military? But I think you might, at the end of this episode, have a better understanding of who Lori Frantzve is. We've talked about her before. We've gone through her businesses before, but we've never really detailed everything we have in our file as far as what her life is like. What kind of life did she live? Who were these people? Where was she living when? Where was she working? What was she doing there? And I hope you have a better understanding of that. That was my purpose in going through this, just to give you a better understanding of Lori Frantzve. Because I can't tell you what it says. I can tell you what it doesn't say. What it doesn't say is that Erika's story is accurate. When Erika tells the story of her mom, this is not the story she tells. This is not the story she tells. And she can't tell this story. Because if she tells this story, she has to say, basically, my mother moved to Arizona and then didn't do anything for 9 years. But somehow we lived this great life, and I went to private schools, and we traveled all over the world. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Something's missing. There's a gap. There's a hole in the plot. The plot hole. Now, I saw somebody ask a question that I've been investigating. It had to do with her older sister. We may get to that at some point. Let me run through some of your chats here, and hopefully I can answer some of the questions for you. Hi, Baron. During the State of the Union, the camera focused on the questionable IQ, Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona. Have you considered a deep dive into the attempted SSS of his wife, Gabby Gifford? No, I haven't. I've never really looked into it. Was the guy's Loeffner? Was that his name? Jared Loeffner? Loeffner? Loughner, I think it was. The image, his mugshot is seared into my head, but I've never taken the time to actually break down and look into it. That might not be a bad idea. Thank you. I freaked out when Candace showed Bush and Reagan. My husband guarded them. He said Reagan was squared away and Bush was a weirdo. He was more than a weirdo. Weirdo is a very kind way to put what George Bush was. A very kind way. Thank you both for your very generous contributions to the program. Hey, Baron, my wife loves watching your show. Today's her birthday. Can you wish a happy birthday to Amanda? Happy birthday, Amanda. I hope it's going swimmingly. Hope it's amazing. It's quite telling the lack of grief is so blatant that it has some concluding that Charlie must not be dead. Jesse's they're aliens or he's alive theory may be correct if aliens equals demons. Let me say this about Jesse's theory. I've watched all his episodes. I like Jesse. I like Jesse a lot. I don't, and I told him this the other day. I talked to him the other day and I told him this. I don't believe he's right that Charlie's alive. But I do believe he's finding some really interesting inconsistencies and highlighting them. And if they're not answered to anyone's satisfaction, it becomes obvious. It becomes easy. Let me say that, not obvious. It becomes easy to start making conclusions and let your mind just run wild to the craziest place. And the craziest place might end up in, he's still alive. My mind is not there. I've not gotten there. And I told him that. And I said, I like your work. I do think he's an insanely talented broadcaster. I think he's very good at what he does. We just disagree on that. Oh, let me tell you real quickly. I need to remind you a couple things. One is Sunday's show is probably going to be absolutely wild. Probably going to be the wildest show I've done yet. So be on the lookout for that notification. You do not want to miss Sunday's show. And I'll let you know when I put the link up if it's not going to be wild, because the headline will be a giveaway that the wildness is coming. If it's just a tame headline, a normal headline, then say he apparently was told he couldn't go forward with the story. But it's going to be wild. So that's number one. Number two, like, subscribe, click notifications, all that good stuff. Don't make me come over here and chastise you for low like levels. Oh, it's pathetic. 7,500. Oh. Another announcement. Announcement number 3. So Sunday's going to be wild. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click notifications. Number 3, the merch is so close to ready. So close to ready. I can almost feel the hoodie. I can almost feel it. I can almost sip out of the mug. That's unsweet tea, by the way. Or it's a watered down version of it. It was unsweet tea a little bit ago. Now it's just ice. Turn my mic off while I crunch it. All right. The merch is very close, and it is awesome. It is awesome. Okay. But I don't agree with Jesse's conclusion, but I do think he's doing good work highlighting weirdnesses that have to be answered. Anyone catch CO and EK's mom was Syrian Lebanese? Yeah, we've talked about that. You must watch Candace more closely than you watch your humble host. And Linda, I'll be honest. I mean, maybe a little hurt by that. Little. I mean, we've mentioned it several times. EK said on Megyn Kelly in December, Syrian Italian. She also told her she went to their Boys and Girls Club every day after school, and Charles Barkley was her first basketball coach. More lies. Wasn't Charles Barkley still in the NBA back then? When did Charles Barkley retire? 2000. So Erika would have been 12. And if she played as she was a good basketball player, like her numbers in high school are legit. I think she scored like 17 a game. She was a player. If that's accurate, Charles Barkley probably wasn't her first basketball coach, but I'm willing to accept. I mean, he did play on the Suns at that time. But yeah, I don't know any Italian in her bloodline that I can find. Unless, actually, I have to go into that another day. I don't have time for that right now. But thank you. Shock could explain body hanging out of car. Couldn't bend legs in the shirt puff movement. Sent email 3:36 p.m. yesterday. Yeah, you guys don't have to tell me when your emails were sent. If you sent them, they're being monitored. I don't know how Shock could account for the shirt puff movement. I'll have to check your email. During State of the Union, EK smiled when DJT said CK was violently murdered. Smiled like it escaped her. I didn't catch that. I did see her get grief mogged, which was bizarre. She could not have been seated in a worse place, honestly, because the president of the United States looks up there after talking about Charlie Kirk, and she does her like little weird thing she does. And then he moves directly from Erika to the mother of the girl. Do you remember the mother of the girl on the train in Charlotte, North Carolina, who just violently butchered? It was horrific. It causes national outrage, as it should. But that mom had legit grief. Holy mackerel. She looked destroyed. I would say by comparison, Erika did not. But again, as she reminded us herself, everyone grieves differently. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I hope you had a nice day yesterday because you were really missed. I did, actually, as a matter of fact. I did have a nice day. I need a catch-up day. I mean, these shows take a lot. I need a catch-up day. I need a catch-up day each week. Bro, I'm going to need you to look into Graham Allen. Okay? I played a clip of his show today. Since he is leading the charge against Candace. Is he leading it? I mean, to lead it, don't you have to be known? FYI, Cody Nichols has videos up about him. Just saying. I love you. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too. I'll be honest. I'd never heard of the man until a week or two ago. So I don't know how you can be a leader of a movement if no one's ever heard of you. Rick Cutler, have you found out any more about him? Weird action, smiling when the Big Bang was going down. Who is he? What role did he play? Yeah, I've learned more about him. We've got a file on him, but I'm not going to just sit here and trash somebody because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. If I had evidence, I would bring it to you. I mean, I've got a file on everybody there. I got a file on them all. I got a file on the guy who asked the question before Hunter Kozak, Henry Dell. I got a file on the kind of rotund guy in the red hat to Charlie's right. I got a file on everybody. But I'm not going to just run through the file on Rick Cutler's life and point out all the little weirdnesses about his life if I don't have some sort of evidence he did something wrong, other than he's kind of a weird guy and he had kind of a weird facial movement. And he did do that little tug on his sleeve, and I don't know what that was. But we've all seen that. I mean, I can't add anything somebody else hadn't already covered 100. But thank you. I appreciate it. Daisy's doing all the work now. No. It's a group effort. It's a group effort. But I like to generously heap praise on people who help when I know they want it. Like Travis, ex Nihilo or whatever his Twitter handle is. I reached out to him and I said, hey, not everybody wants credit because sometimes you get blowback when I mention your name. I've had that happen where people are like, man, I wish you hadn't mentioned my name. I'm getting hate mail. And so I asked, and he was like, yeah, go for it. I don't care. But yeah, when she finds something that's particularly intriguing, I absolutely going to mention her name. What is my favorite date night restaurant with Mrs. Coleman? Thank you. My mom loves your show. Can you please shout her out? Name is Linda. Linda, listen. Linda, listen. Linda, you're not listening. You're not listening. If you don't know what that is, Linda, look it up. Hey, Linda. My favorite date night restaurant, my current favorite date night restaurant, we've been there 3 times in the last 4 months. They've only been open 4 months. It's a place called, I think it's called Noosh. Noosh. Let me look it up. Yeah, Noosh. It's over on White Bridge Road in Nashville. It's phenomenal. It's a Persian restaurant. They just kind of bring out all the food. It's got just amazing seasonings. Everything's stewed down and super well cooked, and the flavors just blend. And they got all this fun salads and soups and these stews and gravies and what do you call the little things with pokers? You know, you stick the meat on the poker stick, whatever those are called. It's awesome. That's probably my current favorite. Long time favorite around here. I love J. Alexander's. I have for a long time. It's an easy place to eat. You know what you're going to get. You know the service is going to be good. You know the food's going to be good. And you know you can get in and out. So those are probably my two current favorites, honestly. Your ex-post. We don't know, but we know. I got to look it up. You know, I just put stuff up there. I don't know what I put up. Oh, Bill Montgomery? Oh. Yeah, I forgot about this. See, I just put stuff up. I put this up in a fit of rage. So one of these two women is, I think, Candace's current position. I'm not sure. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with this. But one of these two women, Candace is alleging birthed Erika Kirk. Either the one on the left that looks exactly like Erika Kirk, or the one on the right that doesn't. The one on the right, obviously, Lori Frantzve. The one on the left is Carla Frantzve. This is Lori, at the time was Lori, she was Lori Frantzve. She was married to Kent at the time. This is Kent's sister on the left, Carla. And on the right, you have Lori Frantzve. So, yeah. So it's either the woman who looks exactly like Erika Kirk or the woman who looks nothing like Erika Kirk. One of those two allegedly birthed her. If you listen to Kate, I'm telling you, I'm working on a third theory here. I think I've got a third theory in mind. I've heard other people kick it around. And I kind of like it. Kind of like it a lot. But Baron, first time super chat, long time listener. Charlie may not be here on this earth anymore, but his life and death brought us all closer to truth and to Christ. Thank you for all your work. Beautifully said. Nothing more to add. Thank you. Or a Mar-a-Lago face. Step 1, rhinoplasty. Mar-a-Lago face is a lot more than rhinoplasty. You got to get the lips filled out, look like you get stung by a bee. You got to get the chin redone, the jawline, new cheeks. You got to get everything pulled back like this. A lot that goes into Mar-a-Lago face. It is not just a simple nip and tuck. No, ma'am. In North Carolina with husband and son for hockey game. Carolina versus Tampa Bay. Didn't go because I had to watch you and Candace Owens. Christ is King. Well, you had more fun, certainly. And you're more informed. Watch people smash into each other at a high rate of speed. That's not a sport. I'm just kidding, hockey fans. I'm kidding. I'm sure it's amazing. My husband was right. And was right. Royal Blue. Can't wait till Sunday. Go Max, Christ is King. This is Baron Blue, ma'am. I don't know if you watch Billy and Brandy's show, but this is Baron. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Good on your husband to look back and see what's the shirt I hadn't worn in the longest. Hey, Baron, your package is still stuck at FedEx. I sent you another email today at 1 p.m. Search inbox for FedEx. Maybe take a picture of this. And you're huge in Poland, too. Not only the Balkans. I don't know how to get a package from FedEx. Do I just show up at the FedEx and tell them I got a package? I could try. I'll try. Thank you for checking in from Poland. Thank you. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Could have been bloody. What we're covering could have been very bloody. But Baron, did sobriety contribute to your solid devotion in your faith? 10 years sober, November 2nd. I broke the curse of the Billy Goat. You're welcome, Cubs fans. You broke the curse of the Billy Goat. How? Broke the curse of the Billy Goat. By winning the 2016 World Series, defeated the Cleveland Indians in a dramatic 7-game series. What reversed the curse? Were you on it? I would read your name out loud to see if it had a hint, but I can't. It's not consistent with the quality of this program. Thank you. To answer your question, did sobriety contribute to solid devotion to my faith? I feel like my faith has took a step forward since being sober. I'm guessing it probably is consistent. I feel like I'm living a better life than I was when I drank. But yeah, maybe. I didn't really put it in that context. Hit and like that, subscribe. Y'all go Max and stay gold. Stay gold indeed. Great work, man. Has anyone heard from Ian Carroll lately? Yes. Ian put a show up recently. I actually watched, you guys have been talking to me about the telepathy tapes, and you said Ian did a show on it. Broke down and watched it. It was an hour and a half. It was great. I had no idea any of that was true. But if Ian said it, I believe it. And it was weird. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to make of it. I still haven't fully digested it yet. But I watched it. It was 11 months old. He got an extra view out of it. You're probably like, who's this guy watching a random video from 11 months ago? It was me, sir. Your humble host was watching. But yeah, he's alive. He's fine. Owens Coleman, 2026. Go Max. Yeah, that's perfect because I don't want to be the president. I have no desire to be the president. Vice president would be dope. Would love to be vice president. That's like the greatest job ever. Glad you're here tonight, and I need the distraction. My best friend of 16 years passed yesterday. Fatal wreck. I'm absolutely broken. Prayers, please. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. You know, you don't think about it, but tens of thousands of people die in car crashes every year. That means tens of thousands of people don't get a chance for a final goodbye. They might have left the house angry. They might have not talked to somebody they need to talk to and work something out, and then they're gone. Because you don't really expect a car crash, right? I hate that. I'm sorry to hear that. And prayers to you, absolutely. You said we would not be able to guess, but I believe I've got it. The super checks were hijacked in an attempt to throw us. Yes, Joe is actually Erika. That's not what I'm covering Sunday, if that's what you're asking. We know Ben S. hated CK for a long time. I want to know when Ben BS and Cabot Phillips first crossed paths. We know Cab played basketball with Charlie Kirk in 2017 when Cabot dated Lori Frantzve. So I got a call from somebody. I don't think he told me all this was off the record. I got a call from somebody who's known these people for a very long time. And his position was he finds it nearly impossible to believe Charlie Kirk did not know Erika because of how close Charlie was to Cabot while Cabot was dating Erika. He's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's impossible. And he even brought up that basketball picture. He said, I'd be stunned if Erika wasn't there. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. Barbara Bush had the same dad, but not the same mom. Her sister is Betty White. What? Barbara Bush's sister is not Betty White. Stop it. Is it? I'll look it up. You entice me with a good Betty White story. I'm going to take the bait. So Betty White, Barbara Bush. I just feel like I would have heard this by now. They were both iconic, beloved women. Well, it's already lying to me. One of them was iconic and beloved. One of them was a reptile. Lived long, influential lives. No, I'm saying no. White is not the sister of former First Lady Barbara Bush or the daughter of occultist Aleister Crowley. It says Betty White's not the daughter of Aleister Crowley. Doesn't say anything about Barbara. Silver Fox. I'm not a big fan of Barbara Bush, by the way. I don't know if you can tell. No paid derogatory campaign will curb the momentum. What will they try next to quell the Kirk conversation? Well, I got a really bad feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, that they'll either be a false flag attempt on Erika Kirk's life that she survives, or they'll take her out. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I've got this like disgusting feeling in my soul about it. Because if you can't stop the discussion and you think the discussion is going to reveal something bad, like really bad, like even if you took out Candace Owens at this point, the investigation continues. So they know that. It's not worth doing. So how do you stop it? Well, what you do is you set it up by saying this is evil, this is demonic, and then you have some crazed lunatic activated from Mortal Kombat Ultra who goes out there and takes a shot. I hope I'm wrong. I don't wish any ill physical harm to Erika, a mental, emotional harm or anything. I just want to know the truth about what happened to Charlie. I don't wish any ill will towards anybody. Like, beat him at the ballot box. Beat him in the court of public opinion. Have some debates. Let's discuss it. Let's just do some research. I think these people that call people and threaten them, send them threatening emails, it's don't do that. Don't do that. That is not how we behave. Certainly don't take any physical action. Baron, CO, and you are my inspiration heroes. You both deserve awards for your work. I can't forget Trigger Smart either. Salute, my friend. I like Trigger Smart a great deal. Not that I don't like Candace. Candace is the queen. Goes without saying. Well, but I like Trigger Smart a great deal. I think he does great work. B, just want to say thank you for all your hard work. So much time and energy, and your helpers are putting into bringing truth to light. So important right now. Too many lies. It's exhausting. Yes. Thank you. It is exhausting. First time watching you live from the and it's 1 a.m. here, and I got to work tomorrow. But F it. You and Candace are my faves. Canceling Netflix. Got no time for that. I'm now part of the High IQ Club. Get some sleep. I'll be here tomorrow. Just watch it tomorrow. You can stay up occasionally, but don't neglect your sleep. It's almost, sleep is almost more important than diet in terms of staying healthy and feeling good. So get some sleep. Browse Laus Katie. Browse Laus Kayate. Baron and Blue, best color on you. That rhymes. Go Max. Go Max indeed. Thank you for that compliment. Or else it might mean all the other colors look bad. So I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not, actually. Kind of thank you, maybe. A little. Yo, B-Dog. Gaining street cred, repping Crips tonight after the Bloods last episode. Make sure bandana on left side. Do they wear it on a particular side? I've got no bandana. Got no bandana. I got a blue cup. This is my teacup, the hot teacup from earlier. This is my iced teacup here. So I do have that, but I don't have a bandana. It's not that weird when you realize Bill's wife was a founder of the X-Men school Charlie went to. Now, how do you know that? How do you know that? Send me an email if you have documentation of that. I'd love to see it. That's the first I've heard of that. Did you really read that book? It wasn't The Addiction. It was the DID. Crazy good, though, like Sybil on TNT. Literally. What are you talking about? Sybil. Oh, Sybil was the girl that had multiple personalities. Right? Wasn't she crazy? I don't know what the DID is. And no, I didn't read it. I just followed the cultural sensation of the book. I just remember being around when it happened. When my baby brother was 7, he went full super fan on Andrew Jackson. Only answered to Andrew Jackson. He's lucky he wasn't born today. They would have given him an Andrew Jackson change. And insisted the family vacation was to the Hermitage. Cool vacation. Every time I see your wall, I smile. Thanks for the nostalgia. Go Max. I don't know what would cause a little 7-year-old to go crazy about Andrew Jackson. Hermitage is cool, though. Short bed. That's all I remember. It sounds extremely disturbing. He's the male Duffrey. Dragged around DL men in those parties. The man had to be around CK when he was an atheist, 16 or less. Talking about Bill Montgomery, I believe. Was Charlie Kirk an atheist when he was younger? But Baron, I'm 6 years sober and living my best life. Congratulations, and stay that way. Everything I had tried to destroy for 25 years has been completely restored. I'm involved in recovery, bringing hope to others. Christ did it for me. Christ did for me what I could not do for myself. Well, congratulations. Appreciate you checking in, Matt Key. I love that we celebrate things like this together as a community. Baby mama drama, did Carla have children? What if Carla and LF had babies 2 days apart and one was still born and the doctor switched baby? LF mixes up EK's DOB. I can assure you that that's probably not what happened. I don't think Carla is alleged to have ever had children. I'm trying to think. I don't believe she did. I don't believe she's alleged to. Whether or not she did is a different story. I mean, that wouldn't be unheard of, though, for someone to have a child and let someone else adopt it. Wouldn't be unheard of. I'd be interested in seeing a picture of Lori Frantzve pregnant. That would intrigue me. Like and subscribe. Child is king. Go Max. Child is king. I bet you meant Christ. But he was a child at one time. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Oh, hit the like at the top for SOS Liberty. Huh? You guys confuse me sometimes. CO, maybe you want to dive into Granddad's past. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, lawyer for GT Plantations during Banana Rep with possible CIA ties, died in Japan, no autopsy. Don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole. You talking about Carl? Or is there somebody else? But dive. Go down the rabbit hole. Let us know what's down there. Hey, Baron, are you doing the open? 26-1 looks awful. Hate wall balls. Ugh. Yeah, I'm doing it tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm out of shape right now. I'll be honest with you. I have not been working out as much as, like, there was a long time, several year run where I was working out 6 or 7 days a week. This show has put the brakes on that and made it a 2 to 4 day a week proposition. And all that squatting is going to be bad tomorrow. I'm going to do it. If I can finish the 66, I'll be happy. Like, that's where I am right now in my fitness. I would be pretty happy with that result. And I don't know if I can get there right now. I don't know if I can get there. That's a lot of wall balls. We'll see. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, cat lady. Don't take your cats. I'm going to listen to this in the morning, but I wanted to hop on and say thank you for being such a credible voice of reason in a time of great uncertainty. Your thoughtful videos and posts are very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that. And good luck in the morning. For those that watch the show on Spotify, we put them up every morning, usually by 9 o'clock, between 8 and 9. My sister's taken over that responsibility. It's one of her many responsibilities. My sister doing an amazing job, by the way. Merch will be available because of her. If it was still up to me, it would not have moved an inch. I have no time. So that's she's rocking and rolling over here. So you can thank her for that if you're a following day listener on Spotify as well. They invested too much into CK at his Quest school to let him walk off and be a normal guy. They may have chosen him for this role long before 2012. Yeah, maybe. Except I think he went to a normal high school, didn't he? Didn't he just go to a public high school? Hi, Baron. I love the show. I became a new member tonight. How can I message you? Have some information. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Do not email that email address that kept popping up on the screen today. I know it pops up. And I know you people email it because you don't know the other one. That's fine. I'm not mad at you. I just know that I'm blocking you as you do. You'll never be able to email me again. So don't email that email address. That's a personal email address that I've used for business, and I don't want it clogged up. So if you have an email for the program, it's this right here, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. That's how you reach the show. You don't send Facebook messages. Nothing else is going to reach me because I don't check the Facebook messages. I've got 1,000 of them. I've never looked at them. I don't check Instagram messages. I don't check other email addresses you may find. Just realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. That's how you get in touch with me. Oh, but thank you for becoming a member. You'll have fun tomorrow. I think we'll have a good time. I emailed you about Ken Starr. Charlie Kirk met with him in 2010 at Baylor. He was Charlie's wedding and mentor before Bill was, I think. And there's videos of Ken's wife talking about their story with CK after his passing. I'm suspicious. he was Charlie's mentor before Bill. I mean, Charlie was in high school before Bill met him. But Charlie was in high school when Bill met him. You tell me when he was a sophomore in high school, he knew Ken Starr? I don't know about that. I'll look at your email, but I don't know about that. Has anyone asked why Cabot Phillips about his pizza tattoo? Yeah, I think a lot of people have. Photo was obviously taken by a professional. Why? What does he claim it means? Google it. I think he's going to claim it means pizza. He's going to claim it means he likes to eat like Papa John's or Pizza Hut, or maybe he's rich and he gets Marco's or something. I don't know. I doubt you're going to trap him in an interview and he's going to go, "Oh, you got me. I'm into kids." I mean, that's the whole point of using something that normal people wouldn't recognize, right? Like if the code word for pulling off a bank heist is banana, and you go to the street corner and go, "I love bananas," and someone's like, "What's that mean?" You're not going to say, "Oh, you caught me. It means bank heist." We're about to do a bank heist. I wish you wouldn't have asked. He's going to claim it means pizza. That's why you use code words. Candace commenting on Mormons and referencing Tyler Boyer has me freaking out. I emailed you last week about some of the same connections I was making. Tyler Boyer connections. I believe their significance. Excited for Sunday. Tyler Boyer is not involved in my Sunday show. I don't think. Disregard I've already touched upon. Crazy Martin Google trended in August 2025. Well, thank you. Oh, Blue Cheer's back. I hadn't seen Blue Cheer in a long time. Back with that fancy horse, I see. Blue Cheer, thank you for showing back up. Missed you. Charlie needed truth. That's why Catholicism. Remember when you said you had reservations about Jason Goodman? This kid is giving off 1,000 times of those vibes. Who the blank is this kid? The eyes never lie, Chico. I like John Yep. That's who he is. He's John Yep. He's the head of Catholics for Catholics. He's become something of a friend. I enjoy reaching out to him, talking to him about different things. I invited him onto the program, so I appreciate you being kind to my guest. He's a friend of Candace's. He's a friend of George's. I think you're reading them wrong, but I'm not knocking you for it. Grok, Indiana, LSD, Eli Lilly, MK Ultra in regards to Candace Owens' show today. What does Grok have to do with that? I will say this. She was a little harsh on the Hoosier State today. Your humble host was born there, lived there for the first 9 years of his life, and then went back to law school there. Calm down. There's a cool story about LSD. So a guy that used to be a radio partner of mine, good friend. I still talk to him pretty rare. Or we text. We don't talk. We actually texted today. He was talking about his dad, I think, or granddad maybe, was in the military. And he was in this building, and there was this gigantic tub, like 55-gallon barrel full of these little LSD vials. I may be telling the story wrong, but I think I'm pretty accurate. Maybe he's telling the story of someone else, not his dad or granddad, but whoever it was. He was telling me the story. And the guy is like, "What's up with the giant barrel of LSD?" And they're like, "Don't know." So they, go about their workday, and the next day they come in, it's gone. So the question naturally arises: the hell happened to the giant barrel of LSD? I mean, you think about it, a little drop of LSD could affect like 100 people. That's a whole barrel. And it was gone. And it was at a military location. So that's cool story number one. Cool story number two about LSD is in the 1990s, there was a lot of LSD around. And they figured out who was making it all. There was one guy making like 95% of all the LSD in the country. And he was in a U.S. military missile silo. I think the effort to push drugs on our nation's youth and adults is coming from the desire to destroy this country. I really believe that. This country has a real drug problem. In my opinion, I get TP vibes with this guy. He looks and sounds like all the TP guys. I don't know what a TP guy is. I get the ick. IMO allegedly. I have no idea what you're talking about. Wow, poor Charlie never stood a chance. Stop pushing Catholic denomination, faith in God. I'm not pushing the Catholic denomination. The question arose, was Charlie's decision to seek out Catholicism, did it potentially have anything to do with his death? And I think it's a valid thing to consider, particularly when they're saying he wasn't doing it. So that's not me pushing it. Trust me, if I was pushing it, you would know. I could push it, and I don't. I just answer questions. But this is something that I raised. I asked John to come on because John has personal knowledge, having been a parishioner at the church where Charlie Kirk was going to mass on a regular basis, weekends, weekdays. The family was going there, the wife, the kids. And then to hear everybody like, "No, man, he didn't like Catholicism." It's just so inconsistent. It's just not true. And that's the point. I'm sorry that point was lost on you. Maybe I didn't do a good enough job setting up the interview. Poor Charlie was groomed. My groomer told me he believed in me. He was my biggest fan. A young, poor college student. He was going to save me. I refound my faith and saw through his demonic, erratic ways. Naivete is real. Yeah, that sounds like you were getting conditioned. It does. I was deeply disturbed by that article about Bill that I opened the show with, honestly. And Charlie was still young enough when he wrote that, because that was the 7-year anniversary. So he'd have been like 25. I think he was still young enough that maybe he didn't see the problem with it. It was weird. That was a weird tribute to Bill. And that probably downplayed it a little bit. I can't help but wonder what Charlie's parents thought of this. Were they happy? Did they argue with him, try to change his mind? Doesn't sound like it. I mean, he said in one article his dad came up with the name of the organization. I don't know if his dad knew a 72-year-old was talking to him on the phone all the time, building him up and calling him Buttercup and stuff. Guys, don't be mean to the guests. Come on, stop it. Me and my man, old man, are big fans. We try to tune in for every stream. Wanted to ask you if we could see you and Ian together again soon. I could ask him. I mean, I know he's working on so much. He's rolling that web out. That's why he's not podcasting very much. He's rolling out 2 apps. Like, he already had the buyer app, but now he's rolling out web behind it, and there's a ton of work that has to be done with it. So I could ask him. Yeah. I mean, I don't like to bother people. Is Bill Montgomery wearing a Rush Limbaugh tie? Maybe he thought Charlie was the next Rush. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Everyone becoming a Catholic means he's no longer a Zionist. See Kirk Parishioner Bowler for the consequences public service announcement. Love you, Baron. 18 years sober, raised atheist. True regarding pain caused. Saved by spiritual awake. Can confirm regarding Christ. Can confirm views regarding Christ and sober suspect on cool. Win back points for gay. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what any of that means. You have researched and done shows on how Charlie was possibly handled from a young age, but confused and narrowly focused on one moment if he wasn't seen at 17 speaking. No, I'm not confused. That's my whole point, is that the story isn't practical. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's impossible to believe that Bill Montgomery just happened upon Charlie. I saw that speech. This is not me being ugly. I like Charlie. I think the world of him. I've seen 100 times better speeches. I've seen 100 speeches better than that at Tea Party events and college events. And I mean, it was just an okay speech. Like, it wasn't bad. He didn't embarrass himself. But there wasn't anything in there where I looked and thought, ooh, this guy's special. It was just a speech. Like, a guy gave a speech. People give speeches like that every day. There's nothing in that speech that would have let a 71 or 72-year-old political veteran activist like Bill Montgomery, who's lived a full life, just be wowed. There's nothing. It was just a normal speech. And I didn't see the reaction Bill saw. Oh, these kids were wrapped with attention. I heard 2 people. So that was my point. I don't know if again, maybe tonight's not my best night. Maybe I've had a bad night on the air. Maybe I'm too subtle at times. I need to be more direct. I need to repeat stuff more often. Call that subtle stab irritates me. Cradle Catholic became Christian. Catholics are Christians. Yeah, I noticed that, but I honestly, I don't think he meant anything by it. I think it's just in the circles he congregates in, that's just the language they use. I don't think he meant anything by it. I heard it. I'm a proud Christian, Cradle Catholic. Thank you. I'm late. Got to catch up. Shout out to say, keep up the good work. Act like I don't know what that's going to mean. Keep up the good work. I'm with it. I know the kid lingo. I love it when you sound out acronyms. Oh, like Kutqua. LOL. Lol. Are we getting a member show this week? Yes, tomorrow. Truly inspired by you, my brother in Christ. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, tomorrow we'll do a member show. I'm going to do a recap of what I feel like people are getting lost on. Apparently, I'm going to recap my own show. I didn't know people were getting so lost on the point of bringing John on and the point of the Bill Montgomery fees. I had no idea. Apparently, I've done a very poor job today. I apologize. You guys deserve better. Father Klein is a wonderful priest and a holy man. I think that was John's message. I think he said that. He had St. Bernadette completely redone to make it beautiful and reverent. OCIA is not only path into the church. One can also receive individual instruction. It is the discretion of the priest. Yes, that's correct. And I don't think we suggested otherwise on any of it. So thank you. And thank you for that generous contribution. Converted to Catholicism in high school, 2005, growing up with a family just practicing their faith, leading me to the church. That is the fullness of the truth. Christianity was the greatest gift. Yeah, I don't want to argue. I mean, I appreciate you guys sharing your faith journeys, but I don't want to turn it into like an argument over faith. Like I'm saying, I'm very happy to answer any questions if somebody has questions, like legitimate, honest. But that was not the point of bringing John on. I just hope you understand. I mean, that's not it. Did I talk to Andrew Colvette, Mr. Coleman? Well, here's the problem with me answering that. If I say yes, then that potentially could betray a confidential conversation. If I say no, then anytime you ask me that and I don't say no, then you believe I've talked to somebody. So I have to get in the habit of just saying no. That's the problem. Because I want to be able to have confidential conversations with people, keep an open line of communication, potentially get information, potentially develop relationships, potentially work to bring somebody on as a guest, help build a story, and not answer to who I'm talking to constantly. And I hate to sound like the feds when I say that, because that's what they do. We can either confirm or deny. I mean, but that's the thing is, so I'll answer this one time. No, I've not talked to Andrew Colvin. Not at all. Haven't even reached out to him. Other than up here. But I don't want to answer that. And like going forward, I don't want to have to answer those. We're starting to lose people. I don't know what that means. Man, this is sad. Poor Charlie. What a shame. I said this is going to be a dense evening. Really, Baron? You say that literally every night. Because we do a lot of research for this program. Tell me that Lori Frantzve timeline wasn't dense. It felt dense. This is a good question. How would I recommend Christians handle the argument if you are not a Zeist, you are an anti-semantic, especially as it relates to Genesis 12:3. Appreciate your work, Christ is King. Boy, I like that. So let's open 12:3 real quick, because this is interesting to me. 12:3 is often used against us this way. It says, this is talking to Abram. God calls Abram out from probably modern day Iraq. And he says, go forth from your land, your relatives, and from your father's house to the land I will show you. That's Abram. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will find blessing in you. Here's the problem with this. He's talking to Abram. He's not talking to any of Abram's children or grandchildren. anyone who curses you, Abram, I will curse. Anyone who blesses you, Abram, I will bless. What he's doing is saying, Abram, go into this land in confidence. I will take care of you and allow you the space to breed. And that's what I'm allowing you. In no way does he say, and this blessing holds on or applies even to your children. I will bless you, those who curse you. I will make you a great nation. I will make your name great. Here's the problem with that. He had more than one kid. They had more than one kid. It applies to, just reading the text, to me, it applies to everybody over there. Everybody who's a descendant of Abraham. Now, fast forward to the New Testament. Who are the descendants of Abraham? It says it in there. According to the New Testament, who are the descendants of Abraham? I will read it to you. If you don't know, I will read it. This is important. This is important. We'll read it together. If I can find it. This is probably the most important question I've gotten in a long time. I've not wanted to bring this up on my own accord, but I'm glad you brought it up. If I can. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Galatians 3:7. Realize then it is those who have faith who are children of Abraham. So if you're going to say the blessing of 12:3, Genesis 12:3 applies to the children of Abraham, then you got to read the New Testament if you claim to be a Christian. Because Galatians 3:7 says it is those who believe, who have faith in Jesus Christ, who are the descendants of Abraham. So if you take it literally by DNA, what they're talking about is everybody who descends from Abraham. And that includes a lot of people who are not Christian, not Jewish. If you're going to say it's the spiritual descendants of Abraham through Israel, then you got to read it in the context of Galatians 3. Who are those descendants of Abraham according to Paul, according to the New Testament? Christians. Like, it couldn't be more clear. Galatians 3:29. And if you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's descendants, heirs according to the promise. You are Abraham's descendants. So do I get a lot over there? If the answer to that question is no, then you're directly denying the New Testament. That's the problem with that line of thinking. That's the problem with the Genesis 12:3 argument. They disregard Christ. And I don't like that. That's not my brand of Christianity. That's not Christianity. That's the problem. That's why it's not my brand of Christianity. The Jewish and evangelical donors would have had a fit if Charlie publicly said he was becoming Catholic. Hope C4C has security for Candace. Thank you for a great podcast. They're going to have security. They're going to have security. I know too many recovering Catholics who are grateful they got out and learning at churches that actually has sermons teaching all biblical doctrine. Okay. Thank you. Again, I'm going to stop doing comments if y'all are going to fight about religion in them. Like, I don't mind answering questions. I really don't mind answering questions, but please don't pick fights. That's not what we're here for. My parents divorced in Ohio, and it listed extreme cruelty as well. That maybe that's common. I've never seen it before. Charlie's curiosity about Catholicism is critically important because this is a big no for the Zionists. That's the point. Sheds light on these shifting views, and they're trying to wash it from his legacy. Go Max. Yes, that you are getting to it. You are getting to it. All right. Devil hates truth. Look at which Christian demon. You mean demon? Oh, denomination is most targeted. Lends credence to the one truth. One can be any form of protest, but why are so many, especially those surrounding CK event, threatened by Catholicism? I would argue a lot of Christian denominations are threatened, are targeted. So I don't know that I would go down that line of. I mean, I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate your, not money contribution, your contribution to the discussion. Not that I don't appreciate the generous contribution also, but I appreciate your contribution to the conversation. But I would argue that a lot of Christian denominations are targeted. So I wouldn't look at that as a guide for truth. But I do think Catholicism represented a unique threat to the existence of TPUSA because of the Zionist tilt and just the flavor of the college events and all the people that worked there. I mean, it was inconsistent with the organization up to that point, or not inconsistent, but it would have been a dramatic shift in culture. I'll say that, a dramatic shift in culture. Thank you for discussing the Catholic Church. Lifelong Christians, start investigating Catholic faith. Just purchase a Catholic Bible. Keep up the great work. Go Max. Christ is King. Yeah, Christ is King indeed. I appreciate that. Thank you. Love the show. I noticed on Insta story EK lost track of her mom and called her mama Lori. Found that strange. Why call her that? Yeah, I've heard that argument too. I'll be honest. I'm less than 30% sure Lori's her mom. That's just where I am today, based on what I see, based on the weird inconsistencies, based on all that. Now, who is the mom? There's some debate there. And I think 30% is a healthy amount. I mean, you bat 300, you get in the Hall of Fame. So it's not like it's nothing. I'm leaving out a pretty good percentage chance that it's there. But it's less than half in my mind, likelihood. Like to make it known that not all Protestants support Zionism. A certain niche of evangelicals do. Most of us do not believe this is biblical. Thank you. Christ is my king. Wait, mine too, ma'am. Or sir, ma'am, Michelle. You can't take it. You can't take them all. I commented when you answered Candace's call that you were talking about EK's sister. Go Max, Christ is king. I was not talking about Candace's sister. 1983, divorce rate was 11% and very frowned upon. Wow. Is that true? Is that all it was in 1983? Well, she'd had 3 by then, or 2 by then. Let's see. John 6. I can't read John 6:22-59. That's a lot of scripture. But thank you. I can read this. Smash the like button and subscribe. Yeah. Do we know if the SUV CK was in had the door closed when left campus and opened later? Is there police video of the SUV on the highway? We don't know the answer to either one of those questions. I wish we did. And I'm sure there is police video, but we've not been able to get it. But Baron started the podcast from the beginning, been on for days. Everything's much clearer. Can you say hi to my wife, Destiny, please? We watch you, Candace and Coach's live stream consistently. You must be very informed, Destiny. You sound like an amazing woman. Thank you. Possible adoption. For whom? Erika? I think there's a possibility of that. I think there's a strong possibility. But I don't know. This entire case makes me think of the Fatal Attraction and Till Death Do Us Part from Lifetime movie. I've never seen a Lifetime movie. Sunday night going to be what you were talking to Candace on the phone about during your live. It is, as a matter of fact. That's weird that you would put that together. That's absolutely what it's going to be about. So Candace, if you're watching, now you know what the show's about. They don't. Y'all don't have a clue. And it's not me being ugly saying that. I'm just saying, if I could tell you tonight, I would have. It's not yet where I can tell you. But it is. Guys, it's so wild. It's so wild when you first hear it. You're like, that cannot be true. That absolutely 100% cannot be true. It is. Gosh. It changed the way I looked at what happened at UVU. I'll tell you that. It changed my entire perception of September 10th. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have the strongest concern about Jesse on Fire. New CK series is a clever way to portray the slop and lies as purposeful and justified. Remains fair to Candace to keep the masses, setting up Cash as the fall guy for misleading the public. I mean, I see why you're saying that. I don't agree with that. But I see what you're saying, and I see the fear. I certainly understand your fear. In my opinion, what he's doing is trying to point out an alternative explanation that even makes more sense than Tyler Robinson on the roof of the Losi Center with the 30-06 alone. In other words, what he's saying is, I've not asked him if this is what he's trying to accomplish, but this is how I watch the show. This is what makes sense to me. This is Jesse saying, guys, it's more believable that the entire federal government apparatus, including the military, including everyone at TPUSA, including his entire private security team, they were all in on one of the craziest stories in the history of mankind, that they were going to fake in front of 3,000 witnesses. They were going to fake taking his life and hope it got over everybody, including the millions at home who would watch it on camera. Stuff him in the back of a truck and drive off with a living Charlie Kirk, head to a hospital where they would take a living Charlie Kirk into the hospital, and a living Charlie Kirk would undergo surgery until the rest of the team could get there. They would all give one final goodbye to living Charlie Kirk, and then they would scuttle him out the side door. And they would have a fake funeral, and they would have... What to me, how I watch Jesse is, even that is more believable than Tyler Robinson on the roof of the Losi Center with a 30-06. That's how I watch what he's doing. In other words, let me give you the most ridiculous set of facts and show how even that makes more sense than what you guys are selling as Fed slop. That's how I watch it. I don't know if that's what he's trying to do or not, but that's what I see when I watch it. That's why I'm intrigued by it. Oh, please. $10. The Arizona lot was conveyed to Kent and Jerry for $10 by Mary Puffer, or perhaps Fuffer, a divorced woman. $10. Also, buying a lot in Arizona doesn't necessarily mean they were living there. A couple things on that. One is a lot of deeds around the country say $10 and good and valuable consideration. That doesn't mean $10. Some of them actually put the amount, but some of them just say $10 or $100 or whatever. So that doesn't mean they only paid $10. Guess it could, but it doesn't. Typically it doesn't. The lot, though, a lot of times, especially if it's like meat and bounds or it's lot in a plat, a lot of times that's just how they describe. Like the house I'm in, when I bought it, it doesn't say and the house on top of the lot. I just bought the lot. I get everything on the lot, including my house, including the world's smallest studio, which is basically a glorified walk-in closet. I wish I could give you a real tour of this place. Wall. Almost wall. Wall. It's not very much in here. Why it was so hard to get the sound right. Two things. One, where the one marriage license stated Campbell County, that is Newport, Kentucky. Two, GE Aircraft is in Greater Cincinnati. They produce engines, fighter jets, commercial GE for 99 or whatever that is. Yeah, but she was working for GE when she clearly lived in Minnesota and clearly lived in Massachusetts. What made sense to me was her house or county in Minnesota where she got the divorce was 12 miles. from the GE plant where they make water membranes. Her house in Marblehead, Massachusetts was 7 miles from the plant in Massachusetts at GE. So my assumption was, since she claimed to have worked at GE this whole time, that she worked at the Minnetonka plant, she worked at the Lynn, Massachusetts plant, and then moved to the Cincinnati to work at their plant. That's what made sense to me. Is there not a Campbell County in? Oh, maybe she got married in somewhere. I don't remember which marriage license that. Justice for Charlie. Thank you for continuing the quest for truth. Baron, Mrs. Coleman, kids, and Daisy. God bless. It's a whole team. You missed Nurse Casey though. Very much part of the team. Integral part of the team. Don't leave out Nurse Casey. And stop calling her marshmallow. She doesn't like it. She's thin. She just likes marshmallows. EK is one of the E's GMO babies with a dash of MK. Maybe. Mrs. Coleman, don't get mad. But we all love your husband. Thank you so much, Baron, for breaking this down for us tonight. I understand how it much better. A member show on it would be icing on the cake. Yeah, we're going to do that. I do want to do a member show and really just delve into the depths of it and really field your I really want you guys to guide it. I'm just going to open it up and start reading questions and answering what I understand based on the questions, because or maybe just open the Discord and look at the questions you guys had in there. But I don't know. I don't want to be presumptuous and say, here's what I think you guys don't understand. I'd rather just you tell me what you don't understand, and I'll do my best to break it down for you. Bayron, wouldn't EK birth registration gap be due to Thanksgiving holiday? 1124, office may have been closed or delayed. Also $150,000 for a home in Massachusetts. A dream home is now $800,000. Love your show. Well, let's do a little 1983 inflation calculator. How about that? Inflation calculator. How much was it? $150,000 in 1983 would be, calculate, $484,000. That's a lot of money. That's a big house. It's a big house. I'll show it to you. I mean, she doesn't live there anymore. See if I can find it real. I know I looked it up today. It should be on my history. Yeah, here it is. Beautiful little house. So this is what I mean. It's right there on the bay. Sitting on the dock. I wish I could sing, man. That would be so amazing. I'm so jealous of people who can sing. So this is the greater Boston area. She lives up here in the burbs, right up here on this little patch of water up here. This is it's a beautiful little house. Nice little neighborhood. It's it's like a dream little house. Look at that thing. Beautiful. It's got a Jesus fish. Oh, that's not a Jesus fish. What is that? It's got a whale. But it's a beautiful little house. I don't know what it looked like in 1983, but it's gorgeous today. Computer-aided methods and apparatus for assessing an organizational process or system is what the patent was for. Yeah, it sounds like nothing, if I'm being honest. As a family historian, I find this line of research fascinating. Very similar to how I do my research. Every story, every doc found is the hook that keeps me going or up all night. I did that for a long time. I dug my family, and my grandmother had done a lot of really good work. And my great aunt, Frida, still alive, by the way. She's like 104, 105. Still kicking up there in the Boston area. I don't remember what city she lives in. But she's still alive. And when I was in law school, so this was over 20 years ago, she mailed me this giant pack of information. And I was able to use that. I was able to use what I inherited from my grandmother when she died, or my mom got it, but I took it out of her basement. And I put it all together, and I developed this beautiful little multi-lineage picture of my family. My dad's side, I took back to like the 1680s. In Delaware, the first Coleman that came in, Jacob Coleman. It was Yakov Kuhlman. And then my grandmother's side, I took to 1630. My first relative I could track that came into the country was in 1630. Cool story about this too. My descendant that came in at 1630 was 15 years old or 14 years old. He was traded to the Indians for 2 years. And the Indian, like he and like 3 of his teenage buddies were traded to the Indians for a couple years in Virginia. And then the Indians traded them a couple people for a couple, 3 years, and they learned the language and the culture. And then they were able to be the ones that communicated back and forth. Isn't that cool? That's my family. That's my family. Cool story. Cool story. But yeah, I was able to track all that down with the work they had done. And then more. I actually used one of the Mormon sites to help dig a little more. They do great work. They have great lineage sites. You can drop your family into their family, and a whole new family shows up. Wow. Thank you, Texas Warrior. Very, very generous. See you in Valhalla is a phrase we say in the Marines after a brother or sister has fallen. It's the afterlife specially reserved to warrior spirits who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for something bigger than themselves. Here's the problem with that. I don't think either Cash or Charlie was in the Marines. Were they? I don't think either Cash or Charlie were in the Marines. If they were, I apologize. I know Charlie wouldn't. I don't think Cash would. So what the hell's that all about? It was a weird moment in history. Thank you, though. Thank you for that generous contribution. Great show as always. What a tangled web they weave. God bless and Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. The better have been an Alp. Bayron. If not, this is for your output. Thank you. I will put it to use. Thank you. Married guy, 8 July, 2 months before 9/11. Then JCOM medal. You married a guy 8 July, 2 months before 9/11. Oh. She married a guy. Whoa. You're talking about Lori Frantzve. I was going to say, I got married 3 months before 9/11. I thought you were talking about me for a second. I was like, I didn't win any medals, guys. I can assure you that. I do not claim any valor. Lori Frantzve married a guy 2 months before 9/11, then won the Joint Commission medal. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Perhaps. Erika's the daughter of Tanya, perhaps. Have you seen Tanya? Thank you for all your work. Well, thank you, Nakisha. I appreciate that. Lori F. was single for like a week. That's the week she raised Erika. Raised by a single mother. Checks out after all. Yeah. This session is so much more than just was Charlie converting to Catholicism or not. It continues the theme of how powerful evil people want to shape a false narrative. I'm glad I joined. Yeah, that was it. You nailed it. Thank you. You should host a podcast. Because apparently I can't. Apparently I am a podcast novice. Apparently I'm a novice and cannot accurately portray the purpose for my guest coming by. I like John Yep a lot. I'm thankful he came by, and I'm glad you were able to pick up on it. Erika's stay-at-home dad looks gay, and her mom does as well. Okay. Her mom's been married 4 times. I don't know. Lavender CIA matchup. That's why they can't remember dates. It means nothing. And her dad got remarried. I'm not buying that. I mean, maybe, but I'm not buying it. I saw an interesting poll on X today. I'm hoping I see a follow-up. How many bedrooms was Erika's apartment that she lived in with Sydney? I guessed 1. I don't know. I mean, forgive the Canadian pesos. Love the show. Great GPA. Ran booze to Chicago in Prohibition. My family wouldn't want examined. Christ is King. You know what's funny about that? Christ is King indeed. So after going through all this the last few weeks, my wife came to me and she said, what if they examined your family? What might they think? Now, granted, my family has no government contracts. We weren't in the defense industry. We weren't any of that. But you go into the great grandparents and you might find some weird stuff right along that line, as a matter of fact. You know, working in the mafia, running booze. So, but it's prohibition. It was a wild time. It was a wild time. When can we start buying the merch? I will have to ask Nurse Casey tomorrow where we are on merch. I know we are very, very, very close. We were doing some final decision making today. Daisy and Nurse Casey worked very hard on that. Nurse Casey put in more work than anybody, and is just so close, so close, so close. Jesse said Philly just needed to call him and he would stop. I think he got that call, but instead of stopping, he's pushing the narrative. This narrative. I'm talking about the he's alive narrative. What I heard Jesse say was, and maybe I heard it wrong, that he would stop pushing the Charlie's still alive narrative if they called him and said, hey, he's alive, stop. But I haven't heard him stopping to push that narrative. He's still putting out episodes on. So and I heard him today talking about it. So I don't think he got that call. Sorry, I'm late. Am I still in the High IQ Outfit Club? Barely. Hey, mods, we love you. Which one of you put me in timeout for absolutely zero reason? Oh, roll that builder. Stop fighting with the mods. Stop it. Don't cut it close. This is what I tell my kids. I'm gonna talk to you like I talk to my kids. Don't give your teachers, don't give the neighbors, don't give your friends' parents any reason to doubt. If you know there's a line of behavior, stay well clear of it. Stay well clear of it. Did I miss something? No official marriage certificate for Lori and Kent, so explains move. Maybe AZ Tech was Kent's business under Lori's name. He still works there. Allegedly. I mean, it was formed in the house he was living in, or incorporated in the house he was living in. Now, keep in mind, if they thought they were going to get 8A treatment, or they thought they were going to get woman-owned small business treatment, it would make more sense to put it in her name. About the worst thing you can do as a government contractor is open one as a white male. There's no advantage for you. You're in the worst position to try to get a contract. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, I noticed he still works there. It's on his LinkedIn. Great show and guest tonight because TPUSA has all these new donors since 9/10. Do you think Erika took the Beebster up on his offer? It's a reasonable conclusion. Reasonable conclusion. There are no pics of Erika pregnant. Please stop avoiding it and speak on it. I have. I've spoken on it many times. There are no pictures of Erika pregnant. That's true. What there does exist, though, is a picture of her getting a C-section. I suppose it's possible they set that up and it did never happen. But that's a really eloquent, or not eloquent, that's a really elaborate hoax to put her in a surgical suite with the little curtain and the little bonnet and the little cover and have Charlie all covered up with a baby that's greasy. That's like that's real planning. That's real planning. I mean, maybe. What do you do? Put salad dressing all over some baby and hand it to the mom? That's what it looked like. All these divorces could be these women expanding their network reach or expanding their army. Given the alleged background of those involved, it doesn't feel out of line to me at least. Can't wait for Sunday. Sunday's going to be wild. Wild. I believe that tonight, Candace said EK didn't start at that fancy school in Arizona until 3rd grade. That would put her at 8 to 9 years old. Perhaps she didn't move out there with mom right away. Stayed in Cincy with at home with dad. Stay-at-home dad. Yeah, maybe. I didn't think about that. Because she told that podcast she moved out there when she was 5. So I just kind of took her to, maybe I should stop taking her to her word. Have you seen the podcast about if someone's lying by their vocal cords? CEO and EK were tested. The results were interesting for EK. Common Sense Podcast. I've not seen that. I don't know. How do they measure that? Hey, Baron. Love your podcast. I love your comment. I lost my husband in a tragic accident at age 29. I had 2 very small boys, 4 and 7. Erika does not act like a grieving widow. She's very suspicious. I hear that a lot. Brittany, I'm very sorry for your loss. I hope your boys have grown up to be amazing young men. I had a friend in college. He was a few years older than I was, maybe 5 years older than I was. And they got married right out of college. He and his wife did, and they had two beautiful young boys. And they were about the same age, maybe 4 and 8, something like that. 6 and 8, 5 and 8, something like that. And he got a cold. This would have been in 2009. He got a sinus infection. And he was working at the University of Alabama and was walking across campus and just fell down, died. And I followed her for years on Facebook, interacted a few times, but I mean, we weren't like close friends. We just knew each other. Went to the same church back then. Just kind of knew each other through the church group. And that man would be so proud of those boys. Those boys are just stellar humans. And I'm so sad that he can't see it. She is so proud of him and those boys. Like, she still talks about him all the time, still puts up the pictures. It's, she grieved much differently than Erika grieved. I went to the funeral. She couldn't breathe. And this was 17 years ago, and she still looks pretty broken up about it. I'm terribly sorry for your loss. Terribly sorry. Thank you for sharing that with us. Another vid, EK moved her AZ pad was already there. I don't know what that means. Instead of stickers, please do magnets. You overreacted to my suggestion for a women's V-neck. Oh, overreacted? All I did was ask what kind of V-neck you're talking about. Oh, many women do not like hoodie. Sister will know what I meant. Well, I will let her know. Please tell members to speak in complete sentences so that we can understand. Yeah, you got to understand, I cannot see on my screen because I'm old. I cannot see the emojis. It's just too small on the screen over here. The little monitor that monitors what you guys see go out is down there. It's pretty low, and it's small. And that's what I use to read your comments. And so I can't see the emojis. And I keep in mind, like, you guys are emailing at particular points. I mean, you're sending your messages at a particular point in the show. And if you're not clear about what you're talking about, I get so lost. And I mean, you put your valuable resources into the comments. I want to be able to respond to them. So that's good advice. Thank you, Kathy. EK said she was 5 when Barkley was her coach. Barkley would have been a member of the Suns at that time. When EK was 5, that would have been 1993. Yeah. Charles Barkley was in his first season with the Phoenix Suns, and he won the NBA's most valuable player. He led the team to the league best record of 62-20 and averaged 26 points and 12 rebounds a game. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm just letting the facts speak. You guys make your own conclusion. Do I think if everyone undercovers the correct people responsible for September 10th, do you think the FBI will prosecute the correct people? I think it depends on what kind of evidence there is, yeah. Maybe hiding Catholicism to keep publicity, fundraising money going to McCoy Church. Keep USA faith, follow the money. I think Erika's more Catholic than she leads on. It's just a gut instinct. I don't have any facts to back it up. Matt Walsh's attempt to debunk Candace's first Erika episode didn't address anything. I just kept thinking that his head would explode if he watched one of your shows. Matt Walsh used to live in the Nashville area. I think he moved. I said we could all get together and do a show together, but I don't think he lives here anymore. Jesus loves everyone here watching. Can't everyone here like this for our high IQ host? Thanks in advance, Tanya Mama. Yeah. Everyone needs to like for the high IQ outfit. There's no doubt about it. And Jesus absolutely loves everyone here watching. That's true. Last part, man. That last part. Did you notice the people in the background of the USA Guy video? They're carrying something large and rectangle shaped out of the area on the right side of the tent. Never noticed it before. Have you? Thoughts? I've not noticed that. I'll have to go back and look. I've not noticed that. It's 4 a.m. in Poland. You got real fans. Maybe they're early birds. Before I was doing this show 4 nights a week, I woke up around that time. Maybe they're early birds. If Nick Shirley and that old guy that probably does all the work, a CK part 2. Is Nick Shirley and that old guy that probably does all the work, a CK part 2. They're setting Nick Shirley up for something. I'm not sure what it is. I want to CEO's shows. I believe she said Bill Montgomery was friends with the couple who started the gifted school that Charlie Kirk went to when he was younger. I just don't remember hearing that. I don't remember hearing any Bill Montgomery connection to that. I'll have to go back and look. I think we need to follow the nationalist roots. Also, I could see TPUSA deleting EK because she's doing so bad as CEO and their company's going to tank and blame it all on the podcasters. Love you, Baron. Thank you. Love you too. I do think she's doing a pretty poor job, but as long as the money's coming in, I don't know that they'll be that worried about it. But I'll tell you, they could have just about picked anybody and done better than they're doing right now. Bubba Barron, you're huge in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Am I? I've only been to Massachusetts a few times, but I've always loved it. I just hate that they're so high tax and crazy over there. But I mean, it's a beautiful state. Any part I've ever been to. I don't know. I've not seen it all, obviously. But I've been on the coast. I've been in Nantucket. I've been to the Boston area. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous state. But so's California, and they're wacky too. So I didn't break the curse literally, Baron. I did figuratively by putting down the drink. Oh, just a funny connection to my sobriety date. Got you. You got so happy they won, you quit drinking. I got it now. I have a shot at catching Sunday's live show live from the beginning. Excited. Here's hoping for no wrinkles. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, I don't know yet what time it'll go up. I'm hoping for 6. That would be ideal. Maybe as early as 5, maybe as late as 7. Just depends on what time we get done with it. Lori also opened an LLC under Tanya's name as well. Did she really? How do you know? Baron, love your show. Getting a membership to celebrate mine and hubby's 11th anniversary today. He passed away in 2020. But we have 2 beautiful children, and we grieve him still to this day. God bless Electric Blue Adidas. Well, thank you. Sorry for your loss. Thank you for joining the members page. I think you'll have a lot of fun over there. We'll be there tomorrow. I don't know what time we'll be there. It's probably going to be earlier than normal. I've got a lot going on tomorrow. And I don't want to be on too late on Friday night. We have sort of these informal agreements with people, like won't go in certain time slots. So I don't want to go too late Friday night. I don't want to obviously be on when Candace is on, at 4-ish, 5-ish. I've got something to do at 1:30 to recording a podcast with somebody that'll come out sometime in the next week or two, probably. And so I don't know, but I am going to do a show tomorrow. Not sure exactly what time. Won't be 8 a.m. because I'll be doing the open. We're going to have fun. You're 100% right. Zionist show influencers post Candace is going to get Erika killed over and over. Makes me think, will they try for Erika and blame Candace inciting violence? That's what I fear. Erika's half-sister is her mother, Baron. I think it makes more sense than Carla. Carla was 37. Like, I understand the whole Carla thing, but Carla was 37. That doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it is Carla. But it makes more sense to me the other way. And then you would still have the grandfather through. Well, I don't want to get too into it. Notice the State of the Union when Trump recognized parents seated beside EK. EK kept trying to insert herself into that scene when the mom and dad stood up. The mom totally ignored EK. So Meghan Markle. Yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed that too. Did Tanya have an Italian boyfriend? That's a good. Because I can't find any other Italian roots for Erika. I don't know. Crazy you had that bad feeling about Erika. Just today I thought of what if they say EK ends her life, then blames pressure from CO and the investigation. Yeah, that would be. Please read The Plot Against the Church from Maurice Pine. I'm Catholic. Love you, Baron. Probably not going to read it, but maybe I'll look into it and just see kind of what the summary is. I don't have time to read that right now. But thank you for the suggestion. Look at Ad Fleet in here dropping memberships. There's one. There's another one there. Just killing it. Oh, Ad Fleet wrote a theme song for the program. I need to email her back. It's country and western. Blessings. Thank you. My guess, Lori and Kent paired as spy partners and both spies. It was a sham marriage, or Lori was sheep dipped to snare him and the whole Frantzve clan. Maybe. I thought the wrinkle Candace raised today with Kent's ex, Jerry, was pretty interesting and kind of feeds into my kind of thought of maybe what all happened. I'm not ready to talk about it publicly yet, but it got my wheels spinning and has me wanting to do a little additional research. Did Kent play while mommy was away? Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe. Maybe. Them being in mass makes me wonder too, because MIT is definitely a hub for the spies. Stay-at-home dad could have been a government contractor too, especially with wife's number one career. Starting to feel bad for Erika. Could have been. We are Catholics with the CMRI. I don't know what a CMRI is. What does that mean? Congregation of Mary the Immaculate Queen. I'm not familiar with that. Set of Acanthus. Got you. You think the gap could be military? She did wear the sergeant emblem, linked in maybe fictional. Well, it's an interesting gap. That's all I'll say. It's an interesting gap, and I don't know how to explain it. That's the problem. There's really no explanation for it. Money had to be coming in from somewhere. Thank you for having Catholic for Catholics on, an excellent organization with invaluable resources as a Catholic American. God bless. I had him on because I like him. I like John. Did judges decide yet? Did the judge decide yet if he's going to let the trial be televised? If he hasn't yet, didn't Erika recently come out saying she wants it to be? Would he take her wishes into account when making a decision? He might. I don't know. I think in Utah it's kind of a judge's call, but it's there's a set of factors they have to follow, and I'm not sure if the decedent's wife's wishes is one of those factors. I don't think it is. So I don't know whether legally he could take it into consideration, but he knows. I mean, I'm sure he's heard. But I don't know that he's made that decision yet. I don't think that's part of the decisions he made. Candace stated BM wife was involved men's school. See, I don't know what all that means. Like, that's not a complete sentence. It's not even something. Candace stated BM wife. Who's BM? Oh, Bill Montgomery's wife was involved in men's school. Oh, ex-men's school. Okay, I got it. Calm down. I figured it out. I need to find that episode because you guys are insistent. Thoughts on 26.1? I hate wall balls. It's going to be miserable. I question the wisdom of putting that many wall balls and that many box jump overs in a workout where people tend to try to do the RX workout even when maybe they're not qualified to do it. I worry about people's shins, for one. I worry some people are going to miss box jumps, and when you miss them, they're just devastating. My wife missed a box jump one time and she hurt her shin for like 3 months. You just took a gash out of the bone. So that I worry about that. I don't think it's finishable for all but the maybe 10 total people in the world will finish that this year. Maybe 20. So that's kind of another thought. I don't like any workout where I have to look at the board in between stations to figure out where to go next. Like if it's going to be wall balls and box jump overs, I'd rather just have a set amount of each and just cycle it out. Because this whole like do 30, do 18, do 40, do 18, do 66, do 8. What? That didn't even make sense. So that's my thought. But I'm going to do it. I'll let you know how I do tomorrow. You were great tonight. Still high IQ. Love your show. You look amazing for your age. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wonder if Candace Blue Chair. I don't know what that means. I wonder because I don't know. You did not do a bad job. Norjohn, yep. Not a bad night from you. Bad guest in the chat. Ridiculous. I don't want to say bad guest. I mean, people are entitled to their opinion. Low IQ and people in chat. I'm embarrassed for us. Don't be embarrassed. I mean, look, people are entitled not to like people, but I mean, just I've invited someone in. Let's be kind. Let's be kind. And the difference is he came in and wasn't attacking anyone. The other guest that people had a problem with that I brought in, unfortunately, used his time attacking people, and that didn't play well. And I get that. John didn't attack anybody. He just explained things as he understood it. If you disagree, that's fine. Thankful you and Candace Owens are going Max. Christ is King. Yes, Max indeed. We are going Max. Christ is King indeed. Watch the parents sitting by EK reminded me of CK's parents at CK's White House award meeting. Both mothers were broken. Meanwhile, EK was doing her usual over-emoting eye things, smiling at Trump, etc. Yeah. That was weird. I really felt bad for his parents at that White House event. They looked broken. His dad had black eyes. Like that's you are crying when you get black eyes. Like that is days of sobbing to have the black eyes he had. They were swollen. His mom had no like his mom was just cooked. Very weird. She wasn't, I guarantee you neither of his parents were laughing on Zoom calls. I'll just promise you that. Neither one of them were laughing about the thumbs up emojis on the Zoom calls. Oh, look. And I guarantee you neither of them said, my son is dead, all right? Not to be morbid, but my son is dead. I guarantee you those words never came out of their mouth. Because they were grieving. Another video, EK stated dad was already in AZ in Arizona. I'll have to find that. The timing is suspicious to me. Love from Nova Scotia, California. Cutgwa. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Baron, I thought you coached 14U baseball. I did. Billy Goat was a Cub. I know what the Billy Goat curse was. I didn't know how he broke it. I didn't know how he himself broke the curse. Max Clark was drafted 3rd overall by the Detroit Tigers, Franklin, Indiana, 2023 baseball draft. My grandfather played high school basketball in Franklin, Indiana, I think. I got a picture of him in a basketball uniform on this. But that's not when he was in high school. So did Fuzzy Vandiver, played basketball in Franklin, Indiana, and is listed as one of the greatest high school basketball players of all time. He played in like the 20s or 30s. 100 years ago, not like these 20s, not like 5 years ago. In my opinion, Baron is pointing out CK's early discovery by BM was planned targeting, not organic, allegedly. Set up from X-Men school, allegedly. Yeah, so I don't know about the setup from the X-Men school, but it was set up from something. That's absolutely 100% my point. He did not show up at that event, listen to that speech, and go all in on Charlie and spend hours on the phone with him. No. That's not how it works. What Charlie did in that memorial post was give us insight into how these people are recruited. They send someone in your life and tell you how amazing you are and spend hours on the phone with you, cultivating you, and make sure you make the decision they want to make. That's what happened. That's what happened. EK mentioned at one point she desired to play pro basketball. How? Her tear ducts can't even dribble. All right. That's funny. You got me. Love your show. And fam, Baron, I had my last kid at 45. Don't tell me that. Mrs. Coleman's 47. And not that I would be devastated to have another child, but I would be sort of devastated. I'm fine with it if the Lord has determined we're past that in our life. That would be okay with me. When I found out I was pregnant, I Googled, can you fall pregnant at 45? Apparently you can. I'm the lucky, the 1%. My teenage daughter was horrified. Christ love you. Did I say you or something? I'm not sure. We had my last, I was 41. My wife was 42. And, everything went fine. He's a great kid. He's 5 now. He's great. He goes, well, I'm not going to tell you what his name is, but hey, Baron, you rock, dude. You're a honest dude, and I believe you. Christ is always king. Never forget. I will never forget Christ is king. Peace be with you and your family from SoCal. Well, you've got better weather than we do. There's no doubt about that. Every time I go out there, I think, man, I always think when I'm here, why would anyone live in California? Like, Middle Tennessee is amazing. Government's pretty easy to deal with. Taxes are minimal. Freedom reigns. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I hear all the horror stories out of California. I'm like, why would anyone live there? And then you go visit. You're like, oh, yeah, the weather. That's why. It's absolutely perfect every day. That's why, except when the hills are on fire. I appreciate your respect for multiple faiths. You lead by example. Reminder, churches are microcosms of society. All types of people, good and bad, exist within them, just as they do anywhere else. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for people of different faiths. I say that as a Catholic who, we all do, right? If you go to a Baptist church, you obviously think they're right. So I obviously think Catholics are right. But that doesn't mean I look at someone else and say, they're an idiot. How could they not see the truth? That's a kind of an arrogant way to look at life. And I try not to do that. I believe if I was born in Tehran or Riyadh, probably would be a Muslim, probably would be doing my best, right? Because that's all I would be exposed to. I can't say that, but it's the reality. We're a product, a lot of us, of where we're born. But that's, you grow up in a rural area and there's only 2 churches in town, the Baptist and the Presbyterian. You've always gone to the Baptist church. They probably say all kinds of horrible things about the Presbyterian church on the other side of town. You probably grew up thinking they're crazy. And they probably think you're crazy. So thanks for your comment. Thanks for all your hard work, Daisy, too. Yes. Everybody's working hard around here. No doubt about it. Thank you. You're welcome. And thank you. Candace, episode 296, talks about CK X-Man School connection to Bill Montgomery and wife. Starts at 29:15. Now, that's what I need. Candace Owens, episode 296. What's the timestamp? 29:15. Thank you. That's going to help me get there. That's what I needed. Thoughts on Tucker Huckabee interview? I've given those. I think Tucker absolutely annihilated Mike Huckabee. I think Mike Huckabee's a detestable human being. I've always thought that. Even when he was a governor of Arkansas and his big shtick was the Tax Me More Fund, I thought that was hokey. He's long had horrific position and advocated for the worst people of society. And I find him just disgusting. But I find a lot of people like that in politics. It doesn't surprise me that he's risen kind of to the top of the game. I wouldn't vote for Mike Huckabee for anything. I honestly don't care who's on the other side I'm going to vote for. Unless they're worse, but then I just won't vote. Great work. School, I go with your go team, 0-cent coin. All right. Baron, so thankful for your brilliant mind, unique sense of humor, hard work, and honesty. Good to know you're just as dedicated to your diet and fitness, so you'll be staying a long while. So Mrs. Coleman had a come to Jesus with me meeting last night. I know you're doing the more podcasting. I know it's taken a lot of hours. You used to work out almost every day. When are we going to get this corrected? And I'm thankful she's like that. She's like that. I told her it's going to start tomorrow morning. I worked out yesterday. It's not like I don't work out at all. My legs are still a little toasty from yesterday. I'm don't know how those wall balls are going to feel tomorrow. We'll find out. Baron, I guess I could read it again. Flattery does go a long way with me. Thank you. Baron, keep being you and your beautiful soul you are. Christ is King. Jesus loves you. Much love to you and for all you do. God bless. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Very kind and very kind donation. Thank you. I hate the divide between Catholics and Protestants. We're Christians. A house divided cannot stand. I don't like the divide either. I don't like the picking at each other. That's what bothers me. If you want to have educated discussions about the differences and then maybe come to some kind of an agreement, or I'm all for that. But the picking I don't like. And that's as a Catholic, that's what bothers me the most. And it's in my emails too. I get a lot of them. Of people saying, you guys do this, that. Settle down. Your show tonight was on point, sir. Go Max. Baron, Jesus loves you. Well, Jesus loves you. Thank you. Comments are chippy today. Let's lighten it up. Thank you. Can't wait for Go Back to the Basics Baron Bombshell that's coming Sunday. Oh, we're going back to the scene of the crime. We're going back to the scene of the crime. Nearly simultaneous with the crime. Big story. It's a wild story, I'll tell you that. Go Max Baron, Canuck Bucks, Cradle Catholic, going back to my baptismal church because of you. God bless you, sir. Thank you. God bless you. And thank you for the Canuck Bucks. I had to go tier 1, passed Illinois bar exam after 25 graduation. Thank you, Baron. Inspiration for sobriety and Catholic faith. Father Michael Gabriel here. Padre? You're a priest and a lawyer? Actually, you know what? The Archbishop of Mobile for years was a priest and a lawyer. He was a lawyer who later in life went to seminary, became a priest. Then he became a canon lawyer. Then he became a bishop, and then became the Archbishop of Mobile. So yeah. Well, thank you, Father. Thanks for checking in. Baron, this is my first full live chat I've been able to catch. Just caught up on all your shows since the beginning. Thank you for being you. That's a heart. Oh. Some of those early shows had technical difficulties. You'll bear with us as we had to improve some of the equipment as more and more people started watching. With email about possible IVF ties for Erika Kirk and UOU. The clinic was problematic in the 80s and 90s. Want to know if any military ties with the doctor. Okay, thank you. Check in on my grumblers over here. I'm sure they have comments. What are you people saying? Oh, what tangled webs we weave. Thank you for all you do. Love, thank you for your show. Well, thank you. Why are we not digging into Charlie's parents? Mom was a therapist. Dad connected to Trump Towers. It's not adding up. We must dig from the start on them too. Thanks for all you're doing. You think they killed their kid? That's why. That's why I've not dug. I mean, I've kind of looked into them, but wouldn't it be cool if the Sunday amazing drop was Rumble only? Ha! Great research as always. I've talked to the people at Rumble about doing some Rumble only shows. There's some issues with it that we have to iron out. Please, Baron, a grumbler mug. Ooh. Thank you. We are an extra special group. I like that, JoJo. I like that. Get you a little grumbler merch. Baron, they're denying CK's Catholicism because most Protestants believe their way is the only way to heaven. They would lose money support from the board against supporters. That's kind of a fear I have, that might be an issue. That it's a pure money play. It's not really a spiritual play. I sent you all my research I did for Candace on Bill's wife and her super school titled Bill's Wife. Thank you. I'll check it out. Make sure you send it to the right email address. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Came here from YouTube just so you could get the full tip super chat. I think Rumble takes more of it. The only thing they don't take is that tip button. If you click the tip button, it scans to a Rumble wallet. I think it's crypto only, but they don't take any of that. Rumble takes a huge chunk out of the supers. To everyone who's a jerk, Baron is blue. Baron in blue is cooler than you. TheBomb.com. Thank you, Dom. I didn't know people were being a jerk. Baron, thank you for all your hard work. Daisy and your sister too, and also loved your guest John shedding some light on Charlie's faith in his last days. Thank you. So many MDs in the house with unsolicited prescriptive advice. If others what you should do, they are speaking from a place of ego and not wisdom. Wisdom doesn't tell people what they should do on your show. Well, you guys are snippy over there today. Can you believe the grumblers act like that? I'm over here. Well, you guys had your moment too tonight, but they're just like they woke up eating razor blades. That's the grumblers. What's a Zarbuck? ZAR. I'm checking it out. ZAR currency. That is the South African Rand. Do a little conversion here. South African Rand. I wonder if it's named after Rand Paul or Ayn Rand. Notice Jesse's view on CK changed after receiving cease and desist. He doesn't believe what he's putting out, that CK is alive. Jesus is Israel. The body of Christ, therefore, is Israel. Jesus chooses those who choose him. Let me look at the date on that. I don't know that he got one. Did he? I don't think Jesse got a cease and desist. I think Wolves in Finance did. Candace did. I don't think Jesse got one. And I'm looking at the date on when theirs went out. It says early 2026 on this. January 20th, 2026. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I appreciate it. Hey, Baron, my son wants to know how tall you are. 6 foot even. Even Steven. Please don't get discouraged from comments. Satan wants to discourage you. I am here to tell you that you're doing the Lord's work. Keep going. Christ is king. Could EK parents be common law? No records. No, I don't think so, because they give a marriage date, right? I just think they got married in a state we hadn't found yet. We've looked in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Massachusetts, Arizona. Maybe we'll try Kentucky because that's kind of down by Cincinnati. I don't know. I just think they got married in a state we haven't looked yet. Or a state that doesn't publish them. I don't know. It's been a great show. Don't worry about the extra noise, bub. You call me bub? Why is birth certificate in Ohio if they lived in Massachusetts? Is it possible EK's sister is her birth mother? If not, where's her sister? I think they lived in Massachusetts. Remember that we said they moved back to Ohio in 88, 2 months. She took the job at GE, or she took the job in Ohio 2 months before Erika Kirk was born. You may be onto something. She started working for that Cincinnati Bell 2 months before. Let me pull my run back up. Let me look at her timeline real quick. Hold, please. You may be onto something. Where's her LinkedIn? Oh, not there. Here it is. She took a job at Cincinnati Bell September of 88, 2 months before Erika was born. I'm assuming Tanya was living in Ohio at the time. I don't think she moved to Massachusetts. Well, this is a fascinating development. You may be onto something. That's a really good point that I've not made a connection to. John Bray showed us exactly what happened that day, no doubt now. Thank you for having John as a guest. He seemed like good people. Christ is king. I like John a lot. I can't say definitively John is right, but I like John a lot. I think John's an honest investigator. I don't think he's trying to get the wrong answer. And I think there's a lot of John needs to be heard. Thought guest was articulate and knowledgeable. Also, while not Catholic, I admire your dedication to your faith. I would worry if you didn't reference your faith. Also, like that you don't bash others' faith. Well, thank you for that. That's a very kind comment. I appreciate that. I don't bash other people. I don't. That's not going to build unity in the body of Christ. And it's not going to build unity between other faiths. There's no ecumenical spirit in that. So thank you for that comment. I love marshmallow too. Buy some for your sister. Check marriage license in Ringgold, Georgia. Marriage at 16 was legal without parental consent. Someone asked if TPUSA is supposed to replace APAC. Optics. Oh. Both really good points. What's the Ringgold, Georgia connection? I'll look it up. I'll put it on the notes. Johnny. Doesn't match tonight. Thank you. Shawnee is so unbelievably generous. The offer stands if you want to adopt me, Shawnee. The offer stands. You got to get it past my mom. She's a tough negotiator. Mrs. Coleman might have a word or two in there too, but the offer stands. Thank you, Shawnee. Thank you for thinking of us. Thank you. Incredibly generous. GE 90 engine for the Boeing 777 was the engine randomly found on the streets in New York City after 9/11, but didn't match because they placed a military version, not the civilian used by United Airlines. I wonder if that was built at the engine plant there in Massachusetts. It makes sense, right? It was a GE engine. Oh, man, we're way behind. 3 hours and 38 minutes. I'm just starting to have fun. Baron, I'm getting graded like a 14-year-old in school by YouTube. Just wanted really cool about the Indians. I don't like getting schooled. Love is the way. I don't know what that means. Zach and Baron, why is Catholicism a big no-no for Zionists, but not Christianity as a whole? Why specifically Catholicism? Big fan of you both. There are Zionist Catholics, don't get me wrong, but as a whole, the church itself, like the official church teaching, has not embraced the Zionist enterprise, and specifically speaks pretty negatively about it. If you get down into the teaching itself, so yeah, that's kind of the problem. Maybe Sunday will be about the Rothschilds and the Temple of Solomon in Palestine, when a leader will be raised to establish the Jewish Society and the NWO. I can assure you it won't be. Curious if you ever listened to Adfleet's theme song. Yes. Inquiring minds like to know if it was a hit and will be debuting on your podcast. I'm going to reach out to Adfleet. I'm going to talk to Adfleet about it. We're going to chat. There's a couple things. We're close. Baron, you misunderstood. I think EK said Mama Lori as a way of saying Lori is not her biological mom. I thought it months ago when I dug into her Insta. I didn't misunderstand. I didn't misunderstand at all. I think it's a pretty good clue. Honest thinks CK promoting Jewish Sabbath, Shabbat, Shalom, and final book was manufactured propaganda. He agreed to dishonesty. Yeah. Need special hoodie for Mark and Shawnee. Exclusive design. Yeah, Mark and Shawnee needs her own hoodie. Shawnee's amazing. Charlie becoming Catholic rocks the very foundation off TPUSA. Its major donors were stereotypical Jewish and Christian Zionist donors, not rocket science. Yeah. I gotta move quickly here. Hey, Baron, I hung out with the gents earlier. Charlie's alive and well, just not secularly. Big win for God, big loss for humankind. God bless all. Yeah, if he's dead, he's more alive than we are. I just don't think he's alive in this physical realm. Hey, Baron, what do you think about Candace tonight? My head is still spinning. I had a playoff hockey game and missed your show. Ugh. I'll talk. Well, you guys, you remember? Yeah, you remember. I'll talk about it tomorrow on the member show. In a good way. Snort more DMS so you can read these messages. I need to get back on the sauce. That's funny. I'm behind almost 8 minutes because the ads. What upsets me is I was on time this evening. New Ways, love your show, attitude, and personality. If I was forced to choose which podcast to look up to, it'd be you. 5 years sober this July. Congratulations on the sobriety. Thank you for the very kind words. I'm sorry for the ads, but unfortunately, that's how YouTube funds this gigantic platform we all love. And they run ads on shows people are watching so that they can get paid. Mom widowed at 35 in 1983 when bro was 9 and I 11. I was Terry to turn 34. Then April 2006, I saved my boys in Hendersonville, Tennessee when I saved my boys in tornado that led 12 people in Gallatin. Wow. It's amazing. That's amazing that you survived a tornado. I remember the tornado. Baron, love the show. Usually silent watcher. I would love good crew neck sweatshirt for merch. We have crew necks. I'm glad I had this community. My spouse thinks I'm crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, you are. But a conspiracy theorist just means you're ahead of the news. Adidas hoodie idea. All day investigating deception and schemes. Ooh. That's accurate. I'm an Irish Catholic, same age as you, Baron. The Catholicism question is getting out of hand. People chill. I have several friends and family murdered for being born Catholic. EK, half-sister, mother, husband, Italian. The husband's Italian? I'll have to look into it. I've not done much look into him. The last name's Segrist, though. That doesn't sound very Italian. Is it like Segristio or something? I also registered company 1999 Foreign Corp and Telemet International Inc. of Delaware. Duly noted. Duly noted. Are Maronites Catholic? Yes. Can we please leave the children's pregnancy out of proving Erika is evil? No, I'm not saying it. I'm not trying to prove she's evil. I'm just trying to prove that her origin story may not be accurate. Today, first day missing Candace. I know what she is covering is important. I just can't handle Erika. I've never felt this way about anyone. I can't even find the words to explain it. I don't like it. It's called discernment. I believe it's episode 296. Yes, we're working on it. I got it. Well, I got notes to pull it up. I don't have it pulled up, but I've got my notes right here. Rosa Parks seems to be communicating with us back there. Looks like she looks to be turning her head. She is not turning her head. If she starts turning her head, I need to be the first to know. You're separated by mileage. I'm separated by mere inches. If she turns her head, I need immediate reaction. Immediate reaction. If Carla's mom is Kent still doubt, how'd that go? I don't know that. I don't know that. That's not where I'm heading. Homeschool advice, please. What curriculum do y'all use or recommend? I want to take my kids out of public school. I don't know what to teach since everything is a lie. Elementary age. I think our kids use the Colby Academy materials primarily. They do a really good job. Obviously, it has a Catholic bent, so if that's not you, you'll want to look for something else. But there's so many resources out there. You can't go wrong. Pick a good one. Like look up top 10 homeschool curriculums and pick one. They're amazing. There's so many good ones. Oh boy, just finished your yesterday's show and CO's second. Oh man, oh boy. Yes. Just thank you for your hard work. Just want to mention GE had many military contracts back in the day, so there could have been more going on there that meets the eye. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. When is my birthday? I celebrated it on air. You must not have been watching in December. Shows up on YouTube somewhere. On Sunday's show, roll that TPUSA UVU footage. We will roll a little footage on Sunday. Could EK's parents not show because they were common law? But then they would have to get a divorce specifically if they filed taxes together, go max. I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. Wait, my family traces back to Delaware, Wilmington. Oh, yeah. But not like recently. My grandmother was from Wilmington, Delaware. But she died in Indiana before I was born, as a matter of fact. She died in, I think, 76, if I'm not mistaken. 75 or 6, maybe. And I was not born until 79. So she was no longer in Delaware. And I have no connection. I don't think I've ever been to Delaware. I may have driven through it on the way somewhere, but I don't think I've ever actually stopped in Delaware. If I have, I was little and don't remember. Grumblers, the two pictures you showed of the lady who looks like Erika and the other looks like a guy. I don't think Lori's a guy, if that's what you're saying. Let's not insult her. She's dying. Let's not insult her. On my ex, 225 posted a Fed's forgotten profile who keeps attacking Candace. Graham Allen, DOD. Yes, the DOW, DOD. Fed slop for every meal. I heard he had a DOD contract. I don't know if that's true or not. Debolatio, to end a war by complete destruction of a hostile state. More severe than sacking. They want all record of real operations, trails, monies to go away, letting EK take the wheel. Come on, Barron. No Joe style on Huckabee. He needs logic and sit down with me about his life choices. All right, Mike Huckabee. You guys, Mike Huckabee, you need to sit down with Dom. I don't give a Dom. That's the rumor on the street, guys. We've been almost 4 hours tonight. That's too long. No, we're just getting warmed up. I appreciate you being here. Like, subscribe, click the notifications, share with a friend. Tomorrow, have a member show. If you're a member, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm not exactly sure what time it'll go up. My guess is early, mid-afternoon-ish. So we'll get that taken care of. And then if you're not there live, you can watch the replay. I'm sure the people that ask the questions, you'll have some of the same questions. Sunday's going to be just a absolute barn burner. So don't miss Sunday. Don't miss Sunday. If I put up a title for Sunday's show and it's not just like, oh my gosh, then something's had to change. But I don't think anything will change at this point. I think we're doing it Sunday.